A very warm welcome and good afternoon to you wherever you're watching this very important clash in the NEAFL. It is round 15. It is Sydney University, currently 7th place, up against the 6th place Gold Coast Suns. I'm Eddie Summerfield in commentary today, joined by Will Jackson. Good afternoon to you, Jacko.
Good afternoon to you too, Eddie. With a cracking day, we're up 4. Gold Coast, 4 on the trot they are. We're in Sydney Uni, bit of a troublesome month, looking to get things back on track.
Coming off the draw last week, of course, against Canberra, and it was Nick Foster who kicked the goal to level things up there. The toss of the coin has happened, and it will be Sydney Uni Sam Tagliabue winning the toss and kicking to the left-hand side of your NEAFL TV. As I mentioned, important game for both of these clubs coming into today's game. Sydney Uni are just 2 points outside of the 6, and if they win today, they will go into the 6, replacing the Gold Coast Suns. Late change for the Gold Coast Suns. Fitzroy Greenwell coming into the side for Jacob Dawson, and Ace Huwago away. He will be in the number 45. I think I'll just stick with Ace though, fresh from the Allies in the Under-18 Championships. So round 15 of the NEAFL here at Blacktown. There is a bit of a wind blowing. It's going across the ground, so it'll be relatively sheltered in the middle, and kicking at goal we'll expect will be quite tough this afternoon. Here's Will Jackson to get play underway. Sydney Uni to the left-hand side of screen.
As we await the bounce, and we have liftoff. Knocked down there by Tagliabue into the hands. Oh, wow, just crunched right there is the big man himself. It's a pretty aggressive start to get things underway here from the Gold Coast. Unfortunately, Bartholomeus had to look on, gave him the hospital ball. Up they go again. This time was one down by the Suns, but it looks like it's going to be trapped there in the middle. Unable to get things going. Umpire says, ball with me, please. We'll see this one go into the sky one more time. Up and down they go. So there's going to be a bit of movement here, but once again, just very early pressure. No one can get some outside run. We're going to see this one go up one more time until the umpire perhaps gets involved there, Eddie. Tagliabue will take this one clean, run straight through the middle. Geez, he's got a bit of company there, but he's managed to give it off to Stevenson. Stevenson plays a long ball towards the goal square, but that'll be picked up ever so easily into the hands of, wow, awkward tumbling handball. Probably not what he was trying to do. The clearance is made. Sitting under it, there he is again, Bartholomeus, making a nuisance of himself. Drops it onto the ground. They're trying to gather and go here. Not a lot doing until it's been regathered. But Suns with a chance to counter, and off they go. Playing a few quick hands. Strong, aggressive tackle, but they've got plenty of it. Holland Smith is trying to call for it on the outside, but it's called away by Stewart. And the umpire says, I want to get involved.
So Gold Coast, first real clean possession. 2 metre Pete had to do a bit of work at ground level there. Did well on the second effort. Got the kick away to half forward. Greenwell, interesting outside kick came the way Portelli. Inside 50, bouncing ball going back with its Reinhard for the students. He'll pick it up. Bit of time to wheel and deal up the wing. Out of bounds on the full. And the free kick is going to come back there to Cooper Portelli. Both clubs today in their Indigenous strips. NAIDOC week this week right around Australia as Gold Coast go long. Big fly from Peter Wright, came to ground level. Sirakowski, that was Andrew, was there. Got a kick out. Davies looked all right. Ducking and weaving through traffic. Bomb Wireless to half forward. Foot race is on. It'll bounce in front of Ed Cole there. Not his way at all. Leslie's there for the Suns. Goes back via hand. They'll just work 1, 2, 3 as it came out to Dirk Conan. Picks it up, bit of space, shrugs one tackle, handballs it off, ducking and weaving, umpire circling from Burgess, ball spills free. The Suns to half forward, but it's all the students and they'll just blaze away up the wing, and the mark's taken by Ed Cole, got it quickly to Stewart. Stewart to half forward for Sydney Uni. Davies came from behind, got the fist away. Gold Coast with numbers and they'll clear defensive 50.
So a bit of initial intent from both sides, but neither able to hit the scoreboard. They'll just chip it around here, and it's going to sit up very nicely there in the hands of Badaric. So Badaric's played towards the sideline here, and he's got a little bit of pressure. And for the first time today, that's going to roll over, collect a bit of chalk, and we'll have a first throw in. So good start from each side there, Eddie. I think each of them are showing enough intent. They're both willing to run this, but
bit scrappy through midfield as it's tossed in. Tagliabue at the front. They got caught up in the wind, so the field umpire says, have another go at it. Boundary umpire. Our main umpires today, Nick McGuinness, Sam Nipres and Chris Mellon. all doing the work through the centre. As the ball's tossed in, Conroy and Tagliabue doing battle. Suns try and get it out, but the students with numbers. Ed Cole to half forward, just blazing away, getting it long. Hanging out the back, there's Caleb Graham for Gold Coast. Quite happy to see it go out of play, and it will be tossed in.
Got a beautiful sunny day out here today, Ed. It's a bit of wind chill happening, but apart from that, relatively steady. Bit of wind going across the ground towards the I Love Blacktown wing, so we'll see how that plays out when they're in front of goal. Comes down, Tagliabue will take that pretty uncontested. He's trying to get an inside ball off. Instead, he goes towards the goal square. It's bounced over the top. Is there a chance for an easy run on here? Instead, no. It will just go through for the behind. First score of the day. Sydney Uni on the right-hand side of the goalposts.
So let's see how the Gold Coast Suns set up here. They'll go to that scoreboard side of the ground where they've got loose players. Marking all alone. Now looking to go up the wing and turning it over. Really poor kick in the end. And the students will have a chance to reload. The kick was meant for Bailey Stewart. Fell well short of him. The Suns will run through midfield. There was Ace, and Ace didn't have it. Umpire calls advantage away of the Suns. Here's right inside 50. Good-looking kick, but it's cut straight off from the Glebe Greyhound, and his Cox will just assess the situation. Has Louis Stevenson in the back pocket. Bit of a haircut for Louis as he goes backwards to go forwards to half-back. Bailey Stewart through midfield. Bit too easy here for the Suns, for the students, as Stern gets a kick away to half forward. They're building now. Van Wallace, long kick. Students with all the numbers. Handball will come out. They're bounced into the hands of Morrison, wrapped up in a tackle. Missed a real big opportunity. The Suns' defence outstanding. Umpire circles holding the ball.
They'll be upset with that, the students. It was a goal there for the taking.
Just about mark it down.
Wouldn't want to go for the volley there, but I think he just had a big look at the large sticks, said, oh, this will be easy, and lost sight of it. So instead, the Suns have got a clearance out of their own defence. Tagliabue tried to get in the way there, but it came over him. Good knock forward by way of Cordell, but gee, that's good structured defence there from the Suns. Jack Leslie down back, just commanding his troops, and they're all in strong position. So see if he can make their way out from here. Tagliabue frontal position. Can't quite make it work. Peter Wright tries to get the ball away. Instead, fisted through the middle. Can they play it out in front? Here comes Ace. Excitement machine on his outside. Chooses not to use him. Has a bit of a bounce and go. Buckland. He'll have to step here, and step he does. In a little bit of trouble here. In there in the middle, and it's turned over. There's Vella. We like seeing him out and about. Awkward left foot kick into the path of Lucy. Here's a bit of a contest. Will they go for the big knock? They do. And the ball collects a little bit more chalk and dust around the part of the field. There's not too much grass growing, but there's a bit of temperature growing in this game.
Yeah, good Matt Conroy there. He's been quite good early on for the Suns, doing the ruck work, laying a few bumps, a couple of cheap kicks. He'll be doing the ruck work here for the Gold Coast. Out the back, he'll pluck it out of the ruck. Umpire said a push, and Austin Lucy wins the simplest of free kicks. He'll go long to half forward. Davies the target. He'll fly uncontested. Couldn't quite mark. They got the numbers at ground level. Stern shot away. It will bounce at the top of the goal square. How will it roll? It will roll into the post. And a second behind for Sydney Uni this afternoon. And that's what they lead by at the moment.
So a long clearance put away. They're getting some good ground up the middle of the field there, but there we go. It's been turned over by way of Crockmore. And there's Davies circling around. Morrison gets a bit of redemption shot, but redemption can't be paid. It's going to go through for another behind.
14 goals, 18 he's kicked this year, Morrison. So he finds plenty of it inside 50. But conversion is one of his troubles this year. Another chance for the Gold Coast to reload. Drop punt, long spearing kick, but it's well cut off there by Will Sirakowski. Wastes no time to the hot spot. Beautiful setup kick. And surely this time the students will be able to kick their first major of the day with a set shot from Josh Stern.
Really, really nice centering ball there from Sirakowski as well. Just could have panicked, but instead just said, here we go. He's sitting in acres of space. Let me hit him on the chest.
Most reliable kick in front of goal for the students. Kicked 20 goals, 4 behinds this season. For the first one on a sunny Saturday afternoon at Blacktown to get this round 15 clash underway. Stern just waltzes in for the easiest of goals. And the students have the first of the day.
They've been doing their goal kicking practice out at Pant Hills. Another Pant Hills lad, Josh Stern, nicknamed Flipper. He's got pretty large feet.
No wonder he made such a good connection on it then, Will.
Oh, there's a lot more foot than there is ball, and made no mistake about it, did Josh Stern. He's been getting his hands on the pill a fair bit in recent weeks. Bob's up and down with a few goals. Be interesting to see how the rest of his afternoon goes. Good to see Nick Foster out running around again. He's decided to drop the long sleeve for this one. Decided the Blacktown weather warrants a singlet approach. Or perhaps he thinks he's starting to look okay in the gym and decide to unleash the new rig for the fans.
The winter rig.
The winter rig, if there is such a thing. So back into this ruck contest, Lucy probably got in the way of that one. Geez, that's taken a little bit high there. Bartholomeus, a few bit of quick hands, swift hands, and playing into a bit of space towards the commentary wing. Davies is underneath that, but he's not really going to get a go of it. And instead it'll be picked up very nicely. So Graham puts a bit of a centering ball into the middle. They want to go quickly here. And a few awkward-looking dummies has just led for a free charge into the middle. But this will be picked up ever so nicely by Ned Reinhardt as they look to turn things over to their side. Over the far, Goulden. How good has he been in recent weeks? Hasn't eventuated in the win, but he's certainly been doing his bit to try and sway it. Went over the head of Crockmull, and that'll go over the chalk for another throw-in.
Really tough month of footy for the students. One that they probably should have won last week against Canberra, and then the week before under lights at Henson Park against the Giants. The Giants win on the second last kick of the day after Morrison had a chance to win it on the siren. As it's thrown in again, copping one around the neck was Mitch Reardon, playing his third NEAFL game since being picked up with pick 2 in the mid-season draft. Playing for Dandenong in the NAB League.
He got himself a premiership playing for the Stingrays there last year. Pretty handy player.
So we wait for the footy to be tossed in for a second time.
We see a bit of this when the students take the field. A fair bit of playing around the wings and quite a lot of ball ups makes Sam Tagliabue's job. Well, he'll be doing extra fitness runs, but right now the relief work was done by Lucy, and Lucy's tried to clean up his own work, but it won't come out of there. Jake Veal was at the bottom of that pack.
It's a real interesting tactic, Austin Lucy rucking for the students that we've seen quite a few times this year by Tom Morrison. 188 centimetres so by no means the tallest man out there on the paddock. But it seems to just work. The footy goes forward. Dropped mark chance. Reardon throwing himself around there at the bottom of the pack for the Suns. And it will be tossed up right in front of the scoreboard, which shows Sydney Uni with a 9-point advantage. The Suns haven't really gone close enough to goal to trouble the scorers. Lucy marked that one down for a tap for him. The Suns with numbers out the back. Reardon to Leslie. Leslie ducking and weaving. Could be holding the footy. And umpire has none of it. It's a really strong tackle laid by Bailey Stewart.
Should be up for a cracking match. As we said, 6 plays 7. One team on an absolute heater. The other try and get their season back on track. The ruck work was not won cleanly, but it is going to spill out. Foster let that one go towards the sideline. Crockmull lets that go. The 150-plus gamer for the students.
Austin Lucy driven into the turf there, and he's been a bit slow to get up. He's still... the time's called off by the officiating umpire. Austin Lucy's just rolled onto his stomach, so looks like he's slowly getting up as the players call for a trainer. Nick Foster calling for a trainer, so he's on his knees now, Austin Lucy, and back in the side. He's been in and out a bit this year, so just taking in a couple of big breaths. As I say, in that tackle, he was just driven really hard into the turf. We were out there earlier, Will, and the surface did seem quite firm underfoot here at Blacktown. Traditionally is. The grass quite short.
It was a very tough pitch out there, and I think the 31-year-old Austin Lucy, heading towards the twilight of his career, probably didn't feel like being driven into the turf like that. Body probably doesn't bounce back and recover like it used to.
So he's jogging off now just in the foreground of the shot on NEAFL TV, which is good to see. And Field umpire just waiting for him to clear the zone. So he'll be tossed in. If you've just joined us on NEAFL TV, students are in attack. They lead by 9 points midway through the first quarter. Wright won that one down. He'll have to do his own crumbing. Suns with numbers at the fall of it. Wright again, wrapped up in a tackle by the Glebe Greyhound. Spilled out the back. Chance here for the students. Snapping around the body. Davies off the ground. No, it's another student. And they've got their second of the afternoon there, Sydney Uni. It ricocheted into the boot of Tristan Davies, and then it came out to Nick Foster, who was charging through, and he got around himself, and then everyone else joined in.
A crummer's goal in every sense of the word, that one. Just right place, right time. But you got to read the game well and the situation better, so good on him.
Well, Davies, he had it at his feet, and he realised, I'm in an awkward situation. I can't quite volley it across my body in, so I'll let it hit my shins and hope someone comes charging through, and that's exactly what happened.
Getting on the end of that one. Very exciting. So they've taken the 15-point lead, nearly approaching 15 minutes in this first quarter. So a good start there. If they are going to stop this Gold Coast run of form, getting out 15 points is always a pretty clever way to do it, I suppose. They got plenty more work to do. The Rucks look to lock horns once again. Peter Wright winning this one down. There's a chance here for the Suns to just cruise forward, but wow, he's really wrapped up in a tackle there, and they didn't like the intent, the umpires. It's been handed over into the hands of Veal. So he's got a chance to look up here. He had Bartholomeus just looking up. He decides to go towards the wing side. Jack Hiscox, ball in hand. They really are enjoying running it by hand today. Bartholomeus has to step and go. Goes back to Hiscox with a little bit more work to do. Pack side this time.
Oh, good mark.
Cracking mark. Read that situation beautifully there. They'll get a chance to go again, Chris Burgess.
So Burgess, just a short little chipper, works out all right there. So the Suns, this is where they've fallen down today, just pressing up from half back. They really need to find a target here. Long Wright's the target, but waiting right underneath that was Ned Reinhardt. Bit of wind today, blowing right across the front of goal. Reinhardt inside 50 for the students. Out the back, the Suns have numbers, but the students keep pressing. Vallo was there, wrapping up a Suns player in a tackle. Could have copped him a little bit high. And the umpire comes in and will toss it up.
It's an interesting midfield battle today as well. Both sides have pretty smaller, quick mids, so seeing if they can go and fish it out. I can imagine there'll be a fair bit of congestion off the back of that. Wright comes through, steering through the pack there as Stevenson puts a little handball over the top there, but it's not going to be cleared away. There's a good shot goal here if Harry Morrison can keep it on target, and this time he does. Forget about the goal record for this season, because that's the one that counts. Harry Morrison with the goal, and Sydney Uni extend their lead to 21 points. Great start. Good recovery.
They're just dominating through the midfield. Bailey Stewart, he's had 6 possessions. Jack Bartholomeus, he's had 5. Portelli for the Suns, 4. Reinhardt, 4 as well. So really just winning that midfield battle at the moment, Will. And if you just have a look at the stats overall, tackles 10-6 the way of the students. So their ferocity is also there at the moment. The ruck battle, as we kind of expected, relatively even at the moment. And otherwise the stats, early stages of a contest as you'd expect them at the moment, but the Suns, they really are struggling to get the footy inside their forward 50 and win it from the midfield. Let's see what happens here. Wright wins it down. Bartholomeus was lurking for the students. Louis Stevenson picked it up around his body. Good looking kick. Ed Cole was pushed off it. It'll bounce out the back centre half forward. The Suns with numbers though. 3-on-1 situation. Burgess came charging through. Quick kick out of the pack's a good one for Gold Coast. Bounced into the hands of Sirikowski, then bounced straight back out. Handball came looking for Selsby. Stops props inside 50. Didn't go the 15. Umpire calls play on. Tackling pressure really good there from Connor Nutting. And it will be tossed up. Gold Coast half forward. Good chance to see how they structure up here.
He did really well to get in the way of that kick. That was cat-like reflexes, that one. So Peter Wright being made to work for it by Tagliabue. Played in the middle by Stewart and cleared away nicely there by Jake Beale. So it's going to go towards the I Love Blacktown sign. Does the ball love Blacktown as much as we do out here? That's to be decided. There's a bit of a shove off the ball here, and the umpire's not happy with it. Did not enjoy the work there, so instead, looks like Butterick has a chance to centre it in. And centre it in he does. Alex Davies ball in hand. What can he make of it? What bit of go forward they need to start here? As he pushes it towards the half-forward flank. onto the far side, but just kept flanking out and eventually trickled out of bounds.
So there's Ace. He had a really good run in the Airlies in the under-18 championships over the past week or so. Round 6 rising star in the NEAFL, of course, and originally from PNG. One to look out for inside the Suns' attacking half today as Tagliabue won this one down from behind. Chance for the Suns going forward. They've got the height. Do they have the skills? Comes out towards that man. Ace now picked up by Bartholomeus, another rising star nominee winner in the NEAFL. And it's wrapped up and will be tossed up. Half forward flank for Gold Coast. Another one just to look out for if you're a Suns fan wanting to know the talent coming through. Connor Budrick, named in the back pocket in the All-Australian side from the under-18 national champs. As it's bounced down, first real chance for the Gold Coast Suns. Snapping around the body and marked in the last line of defence. And the students will have a chance to clear it. It's Tim Barton back in the team this week. Good to see him out there as well.
Good to have his experience out there indeed. He's always such a stalwart down back for them, and this is pretty good play outside their own 50 here. So it's played over a bit of an option forward with Davies. Can he recover this? Because it's gone to the ground. It won't. Jack Leslie, oh, geez, he has come away with it. Here comes Davies charging in. Does he manage to hit him? Hiscox, no problem. Probably could have played on there and just slotted through, but he'll line up for a set shot. Gee, he did well there, Davies. It was a bit of a 2-on-1.
The extraction, the ball at ground level. Two Suns bent over to pick it up. Davies said, I'm not having none of it. Went in with one hand and just picked it out and then hit the Glebe Greyhound at lace out.
With a ribbon on it. And continuing this run of presence are the students. Jack Hiscox adds to the goal-scoring tally here. They've got 4 for the quarter. And they're out to a 27-point lead with that one. He's done well. He had 2 years of the Swans, Jack Hiscox, so he knows his way around an AFL list. Did most of his junior footy at the Glebe Greyhound Football Club, hence the nickname. And also because he's pretty quick.
Very quick. Love seeing a bit of run and dash off half-back traditionally to just break the line.
Him and Goulden do love to run through the middle, don't they? Real dynamic duo, depending on where they're playing on the day. So, see how this continues. It's the dream start for the Sydney University students.
Good battle out there in the midfield. George Holland-Smith and Josh Stern just lining up next to the umpire. Well, you'd expect Holland-Smith to be all over. Geez, listen to that in the effects mic. Just bounced down. Tagliabue won it down. Stern lurking, and I think Tagliabue will win the free kick. He does. Wants to dish it off by hand. Did eventually. Cordell out to Veal. Veal to half forward. It will go inside 50. Target there, Morrison. Bashed away from him. Foster threw it out. Umpire called play on. Suns with numbers at half back. Just drilling it out of defence. Looking for Fitzroy Greenwell. Couldn't quite find him. He did well on the second effort there, Greenwell. Kept it in. No. Just goes out of bounds. Right in the centre of the I Love Blacktown wing. Just ticked on to time on first period. First quarter, rather. Hopefully you're enjoying this one on NEAFL TV. Don't forget you can let us know where you're watching from this afternoon, who you think's going to win. Can the Gold Coast make it 4 in a row? Love to hear your say and your thoughts on this first quarter. Just drop us a comment on NEAFL TV.
We do read them, and we will comment back.
We'll have a look at quarter time. So the Suns just working the handball on the wing at the moment, ducking, weaving. They'll go back via hand. Bit of time here. They'll want one late as it just goes through the hands. The students with numbers. Tagliabue, the big fella, bent over, picked it up, got his kick just. And it's well marked there by Caleb Graham. Waste no time across half back. And the Suns will look to transfer play to the broadcast side. No. They'll just work it up the centre of the ground. And the mark's well taken there by Davies.
So Davies ball in hand here. He had a good run representing Australia for the Anzacs in a pretty comprehensive win against New Zealand recently. Inward ball. Goulden usually likes to run, so he's found himself on the spot here, having to decide which direction to take. They've reversed it a little bit. Now he's forced into maybe a decision he didn't want to make. Will it work out for him? No. In fact, it'll spill out and they're going to loop around each other on the far side. The I Love Blacktown wing, as we so commonly refer to it as. Inside ball, can't find the target directly. Foster gave off an inside ball and it popped up again. Crockmore puts it forward. It's going to probably trickle out of bounds in front of Harry Morrison. It does. Students continuing their intent. A real good start for them. Gold Coast bit of work to do. I think they were taken by surprise. We were there warming up and they looked relatively on, but they just haven't quite managed to turn it onto the field. Oh, geez, that was just taken so uncontested there, but they just haven't managed to get it away cleanly. So try and get a bit of a run and carry here. They're just playing with fire, dancing through the middle. It's been turned over, as you'd expect eventually. There goes Hiscox. Puts a long one towards the top of the goal square. Oh, it was nearly marked. Couldn't be taken. Still around it there is Stern. Crockmall circling, trying to grab it. But no one can get that ball out. You're playing with real fire if you're going to handball through the middle like that. And it's only a matter of time before a costly mistake. And gee, that's what's happened. They'll be lucky to get out this unscathed.
So Tagliabue out of the ruck, went looking for Stern, couldn't quite find him. Good tackling pressure, but the Suns with numbers. They go handball backwards again. And it's just fumbled there. And it will be tossed in.
So again, they'll be really lucky to get out of this without a goal kicked against them. It was just foolish play. They won the ruck battle convincingly there and didn't give it off. 2 metre Peter manages to tap it directly down, but Tagliabue's still there on his feet. Did well to hold himself up, the big man. Trying to crumb it out here. Vella gives it off to Morrison. That'll be his second for the quarter. Fantastic, really fast play. Just taking them on the break by surprise.
Geez, easy as you like as well there for the students. Just handballing through pressure. Gold Coast Suns are in all sorts. 5-3 to zip. 24 gone in this first quarter.
Definitely not the start they need. The coach will be scratching his head and the players will too. Let's hope they can switch it on from here. There's one thing we like to see. It's a contest, but this isn't quite the contest we had in mind when we arrived at Blacktown this morning. Real blustery morning, plenty of wind and rain, and then of course the sky's just opened up, as it so often does for us here. And out at the Bisp, recorded on NEAFL TV.
As it's affectionately known. So ball back in the middle. Can the Suns find a late one in this first quarter? Ruckman do battle. Both tapped it to their feet. Bartholomeus hanging out the back unopposed. Another centre clearance for him. Looking for Foster out wide. Won the one-on-one. Snapped it around his body. It was touched off the boot. And it will just go out of play pretty easily there. Alex Davies. Bit of wind today at Blacktown, so the skills may not be quite up to the standard you'd hope. Big marking. Tossed in again. The Suns with numbers this time out the back. Just ducking and weaving. They'll press to half forward now, the Suns, but it's cut off by the veteran there in Barton. So Barton, he'll just transfer play nice and slowly over the top of Michael Carroll's head. Fumbling. Chance here for Gold Coast. Peter Wright, good tackle. Ball at ground level. Still a chance for the Suns if they can just lock it in. Tackling pressure outstanding there. Connor nutting once again. And it will be tossed up half forward for the Suns after the students really looked like they should have cleared defensive 50 pretty easily.
It's a few awkward handballs. You said the wind was going to play a factor on the skills, and it has done so. Bit of a chance here to go forward, but should be fished out by the students. Cleared away. Mark couldn't be taken cleanly. Davies trying to regather it, and that couldn't be done. There goes Bartholomeus. It's going to have to be cleared away. Gee, that looks painful. Barton, he'll escape. So running into a bit of space here go Corey Ellis. Turns onto his left, and wow, isn't that a cracking kick to really get a bit of go forward here. Bit of get up and go. Playing forward. Hits him out there. There's Ace. Does he have the legs? He's going to have to line up, and it's a pretty big man to kick over. That's a bit better from the Gold Coast Suns, though. They managed to hit their targets by foot. Now they've got their first and only shot at goal for the quarter.
He's played 10 games this year in the NEAFL. Fitzroy Greenwell kicked 8 goals, 8.
So when he comes, really high. It's going to gather snow. It's not going to make the distance. Peter couldn't take that ball. Instead, it's going to bounce in front of Bartholomeus. He just charges. Greenwell's trying to apply the pressure, which they so desperately need out there, but it's not going to come away cleanly. And there's a bit of a grapple there in the middle. And it won't come away. So they're going to have to reset here once again. Circling there is Hall Smith.
Unmarked. Valor will eventually go to him.
Been good in recent weeks, Vella.
So came out the way of Hiscox. Got it to the I Love Blacktown wing. Davies will fly from the side. Couldn't quite mark. Students with numbers. Good tackling pressure, though, from the Suns, which has been one of their trademarks over the past month. Just the pressure around the stoppages and the tackling. tossed up again, right on the wing. Hall & Smith did well, as did Valor. Ed Cole head over it at the moment for Sydney Uni. And it will be tossed up once again, Will.
So just not a lot doing there. It's just a bit trapped at the moment as they each try and sound each other out, size each other up. Ball's on the ground and regathered. He's just swung around 360. Tom Banuelos picks it up, but he won't go very far. Umpire says, get back here. So turning and having a look. Looking forward, there's no one. There's a couple of guys inside 50, but
not many.
Not many at all. So trying to play flat. It's a bit of a helicopter kick. It's just so ineffective. Lachlan Kilpatrick couldn't take it cleanly, but Bailey Stewart could until it was dropped there. And it'll just trickle over for another throw in.
Good pressure from Peter Wright there. First game in the NEAFL this year. He's had a pretty good run at it at AFL level, but as the Suns' form started to drop as the season progressed, he was sent back down to this level this week to try and find some form in the twos. So they try and just win that one from the stoppage. Bit of push and shove and feeling out there, which is what we like. Spotting the 6, up for grabs the Savo. Stern involved as you'd expect. Bailey Stewart too.
Nick Foster was laying the tackle. He's been really physical, bumping people out of bounds. Shows just how much this win means to the students. And you'd think the Suns will come up and match them at some point, but this doesn't seem to be their quarter, Ed.
Sam Fletcher there as well for Gold Coast. And there's a free kick. It'll be a push there for the Foz. So I'll come back to Foster. Pretty undisciplined stuff from Sam Fletcher. Pretty disappointing, really. So Foster goes to Louis Stevenson. It's Ace standing the mark. Louis Stevenson has a look around, ignores a few leads. Now we'll just waltz around Ace. Risky business, got it through midfield. Interesting tactic, and it's well marked there. Standing right where a wicketkeeper traditionally would in summer, Hall & Smith. So Hall & Smith late in this first quarter. He'll drive Gold Coast inside 50. Right the target. Couldn't quite reel this one in. Reinhard did well. Came the way of Stevenson. Out to Foster. Back to Reinhard. So the students out of defence relatively easily through a string of handballs, and the ball bounces just before touch, and we'll have it tossed in right on the I Love Blacktown wing. 31 minutes gone, first quarter.
Feels like the students are playing with extra men out there. Just then they had 4 after the play broke down, and then they managed to kick it into space. It just doesn't make sense. Where are the Suns players lining up? So towards the boundary they go. There was a bit of a chance to run out from there, but it'll be held up. It's going to have to be a real addressing of the situation come quarter time, because it's definitely not the start they were after. We'd love to see them bounce back, because they're such an exciting team, the Suns, when they get some go forward, especially their last few weeks for anything to go by. Clearance attempted but smothered, and the second time it was a fair bit more effective. Into a bit of a grappling one-on-one, won't be taken. Trying to clear it out from the boundary here as it's put check side, directly turned over. Stewart gives up the inside to Hiscox, who plays one forward. Mark won't be taken, but they all spoil each other. So try and charge out the middle here. Come the Suns. Turning and weaving, he did well there. Hall & Smith puts a handball over the top. Geez, bit of a hospital. Was he taken high? Umpire doesn't mind it. They're having a run. They've got a bit of a chance to go. Chris Burgess puts a long one towards Peter Wright, the target. He can continue his run if he can get onto this. Salvage a goal. But instead just taps over to the side. Still a pretty good result. Push and shove. They're beginning to feel it.
So interesting how the Gold Coast Suns they set up here. They try and create a bit of space. They've got plenty of small forwards really capable in this situation. Haven't scored in this first quarter. And there's a free kick. It's for a push in the rucking contest. And you think this should mean they'll hit the scoreboard in this first quarter. Definitely will, because there's been a bit of abuse, and there'll be a 50-metre penalty. And it will be Matt Conroy who'll be marched to the line. And the Suns will be on the board through his first goal of the season for Gold Coast.
He's kicked it out of the bisp.
Oh, onto the road where there's a bit of roadworks going on the way in. Go and fetch that, he says, and Perhaps that might give them a bit of a spark to light them up for a second quarter assault on this game, but a real lacklustre performance so far from the Suns. A goal coming from a free kick.
Certainly. Look, it was fitting that Matt Conroy got on the end of that because he started the play with a charge through the middle and the clearance. So nice of him to come away with the goal. But look, they're going to need, by my calculations, 4 more to equal the goals and 5 to take the lead. So plenty of work to do in the next quarter, but at least they've avoided the deadlock. Well, the whitewash certainly wasn't a deadlock.
Far from it.
Speaking of a deadlock, though, this ruck battle is starting to prove interesting. They lock arms like doing the do-si-do and try and fish it out there. And instead, we get beaten by the siren in the middle of the hoedown. It's the Sydney University students with an excellent start to this game. 5 goals, 3, 33 plays, 1 goal, none, 6. We're at quarter time. Shout out with your comments. We do read them and we'll call a few of you out and hear what you have to say. Join us next for the second quarter.
Welcome back to the Blacktown International Sportspark. It is quarter time here of this round 15 NEAFL clash. Sydney Uni out of the blocks hard, 5-3, 33 to 1 straight 6. The Suns getting the last one through. Conroy kicked 4 behinds last week and kicked his first goal of the season through a 50-metre penalty. Harry Morrison has 2, Hiscock, Stern and Foster. The other goal kickers for Sydney Uni. I'm Eddie Summerfield, joined by Will Jackson in commentary as play is about to get underway in this second quarter. Let's see what the Suns can muster. It'll be Wright and Tagliabue doing battle in the middle. Tagliabue will win it down with a double fister, looking for Sirakowski. There's a free kick for a hold, and it's going to go the way of the Suns. So a chance here just to go inside 50 early in this second quarter. Long kick, it's a good one, but there has been a whistle, and he'll have to come back around his mark. Mitch Reardon there. So Mitch Reardon, ball in hand. Mid-season pick-up for the Suns right from the halfway line. Goes inside 50, good kick and diving. Mark spilled off the chest. Students with numbers. Reinhardt handballing out wide. Just all going in for the fist as the ball ricochets down to ground level. Reinhardt charging through. Ed Coles there. Sells a bit of hand candy through to Andrew Sirakowski. Got the kind bounce on a good length. Wrapped up in a Corey Ellis tackle. Ball spills free. Wrapped up high. Charging through Ed Cole, but the Gold Coast Sun there, Connor Butterick, had his head chopped off. Quite a remarkable feat considering he's one of the smaller guys out there, Will Jackson.
Certainly is. Small, stocky, but very effective, competitive beast. He gets the ball back and he's going to have to compete here because he's found himself under some pressure, trying to get this one out. Speaking of pressure, feel that. That's got to be holding the football. He's not going to be too stoked there, Jez McLennan. Not the start they wanted, so let's see what the students can do here. Big right foot kick from Harry Morrison. Davies tries to get there. Banuelos circling, but I'm sure Reinhardt and Leslie will see that one go out of bounds. And like predicting the future, it does do exactly that.
Real tough one there to pick, Will. If you could give us the Powerball numbers for next week, that'd be handy.
Call me Nostradamus with predictions like those. So we wait for this one to go again. The clashing of the Titans there in the middle. The two very big men. So cleanly taken. That's pretty well done there by the students. Right into the path. Couldn't be taken. They're going to have to knock this one out again. Corey Ellis there. Unable to get this going. Bartholomeus has been bobbing up a fair bit.
One of the leading possession getters on the ground. So the students in attack. Can they just continue their assault? Nearly came out the way of Bartholomeus, but they've got numbers there. I read in the last man via hand, turned it over. Students are diving back on top and it will be tossed up. So students just trying to snap a bit of a losing streak at the moment. They're inside 50. Tagliabue won it down to Stevenson. But it is the Suns with numbers. Kick comes our side to the broadcast wing. Bouncing footy. Well done there, Reinhardt. Lost his footing. Tackling pressure really good from Davies. Ball rushed towards the boundary line. Picked up by Louis Stevenson. Round the body, charging through. I think it was Hall and Smith dishing a handball out. Students, though, they've got numbers. Bartholomeus to Foster. Foz is wrapped up in a tackle. Kept it in somehow. Bartholomeus realised he had a 3-on-1 situation and just happy to tap it out of play.
So they're trying to start their quarter off the way they finished the last, the students. Haven't really let the Suns go forward just yet, except for right at the beginning. Apart from that, it's been all students' traffic. So, Wright knocks this one down. Bartholomeus under it, but it's tapped forward by nothing there. Tagliabue gets the inside 50, top of the goal square. There's Tristan Davies. Hits him square on the tip, no problem.
Wobbly little torpedo punt, if you don't mind, as well. Just straight onto the chest of Davies. Not an easy thing to mark.
Always difficult to mark, but it just peeled and went out to the side perfectly for him. It ended up being exactly what you'd hope for as a forward. That's not the kick you'd hope for as a forward, though. An uncharacteristic, like, off the side of the boot from Tristan Davies. So the Suns will have to chip this one in.
Good rear. How's the zone set up from the students? Really, really nice stuff. So the Suns are just forced to kick short. Holland Smith, an underground kick is poor, I'll go with. I won't go as far as I was going to. Bailey Stewart marks really easily. So has a look. 11 touches. second leading possession getter on the ground. This will take his absolute best from here. Windy conditions after he leaves the shelter of the grandstand. Wheels up from 50. It will go to the top of the goal square. Suns with the height and bashing it through for a rushed behind to take this out to a 29-point ball game.
It's a really interesting start. You'd hope they turn around. Eddie, when we were watching the Suns warm up, you made the very interesting comment saying they don't look very switched on, they don't look very energised, and they've just come out here and they're just getting pushed around a bit. Don't seem to be up and about quite like the students who are taking absolute ripper marks like that. Did so well there. He's played it forward, big punch away. Bartholomeus just there, pretty uncontested. He did well there, Hall and Smith, to just grapple onto that, the ex-Geelong Cat. It's not going to go out too much further from here, but a very interesting observation from you that seems to have translated at least to the start of this match.
You hear coaches talk about it a lot when they're in the change rooms prior to a game, and after the game they go, the players just were not on in the warm-up and that kind of thing, and just having a look at them, it just seemed like they were going through their paces when they were kicking the ball to each other, the intensity of the bumping and ruffling each other's feathers when they were doing something good in the warm-up just wasn't there that you'd expect for a side on the march. And when, let's face it, there is positions in the ones team up for grabs week in, week out, you just want to see a bit of that intensity as Valor is diving into the back there of Hall and Smith. Umpire disagrees with my opinion of things, and Chris Mallon crosses himself and will throw it up.
Hall and Smith's certainly lifted. He's been trying to get a bit of go forward.
So tossed up again, Tagliabue winning this down for the students. The Suns are there though in a quick way. Snapped out of the pack there from Fletcher towards the boundary line. Goulden wants deliberate. Umpire says nope, let's throw it in.
I think too deliberate right now. Eddie coming off a little bout earlier in the week.
Man flu, watch out for it.
He's very, very tough to make it here today and stand in the bleachers and talk for the next couple hours. So it's played down the I Love Blacktown wing, but standing directly underneath it is Ned Reinhardt.
Free kick here for the Suns. He was bashed off. Bashed is probably the wrong word, but he was hit off the ball then. So after he got rid of it, so that's why it's downfield.
See what he can make of it. Stewart was underneath it. A couple of guys trying to fish it out here. There's certainly a chance there. There he goes again, Hall and Smith. He got taken a little bit around the shoulders. Umpire raises his arms and says, nope, no problem to me. The only problem is that you didn't get rid of it, and we'll have to throw it up. It's real hard there, but they've made a good little territory gain out here from this, the Suns. Can they turn territory into scoring? So we wait and see. It's been turned over here. Vella gets a clearance away down the far side of the wing. Bit of a mismatched contest there, but Davies did well, and that's one of his strengths is winning those contests that you'd usually write him off in. Can't get out of it from there. But a bit of a role reversal. We're a similar position in the field, but down the other side of the ground.
Another important thing to remember with the Suns today is there's a lot of teenagers out there. I think 16 or 17 of them playing today from a total of 22 players. So a lot of inexperience among this side, and one thing that you need in footy is continuity with who you're playing with, and that couldn't be more opposite of Sydney Uni, whereas there've only been 3 or 4 changes over the course of the past 2 or 3 months.
That's right. You typically see the same guys line up each week, which is always fantastic, both from a team morale point of view and, like you said, understanding each other. So let's see if the Suns can get a bit of gel. And a good little run played out through the middle there. Butterick couldn't be taken over his head. Little chance here for Kilpatrick. Can they turn it over? Davies was trying to get over the top of that one. Inside. Nudger, can he get it forward? So inside 50 they go. Bit of a run. It's going to likely trickle out of the bounds, and there it goes. So, certainly a better attempt that time, but still not quite the result they're hoping for. Important thing is they haven't conceded a goal yet either, so still chance to really wrestle control of this quarter.
Good to see Austin Lucy. Saw him running around at quarter time. He's just run back on the field after copying a really heavy tackle in that first quarter. The Suns were in attack as Goulden got a clearing kick, went over the head of Davies. Foot race is on there. Overrunning at the Suns player. Davies' second effort was good. Slide rule perhaps. Umpire says yes. So free kick going the way of Gold Coast.
They've got a far reach, the students of support. We had guys from Italy and Las Vegas in the comments section who are in those respective areas cheering on the students. They've got a very wide reach, the travelling students.
Bit of a mid-season trip overseas for a few of the students' fans where it's a bit warmer and less windy.
Not that the holiday in Blacktown wouldn't be an absolute delight with the weather we're getting out here.
Really transforming this part of Sydney at the moment, Will, as the students, they'll just chip it out of half-back and it goes out of bounds on the full.
So not quite what they would have wanted. Having a chance here in the go. Onto the right foot, very long booming kick, mark not taken. Be the story of the afternoon, but they did manage to crumb it away. Didn't get too far, that wind playing tricks, and gee, that's a good mark. So he wants to go quickly, no problem. He'll go over the top to the waiting Nutting, who jumps out of nowhere and takes it around the top of the goal square. That is fantastic stuff.
Really good vision there. Nutting was streaming forward and the kick was just lobbed his way. Luckily for him, it got caught in the wind a little bit and landed right in his breadbasket.
I said he was streaming outward, thinking it was a long one. He was the first to turn around and read that. So this will be really well earned from him. Tribute to his vision. The kick's on its way and over. Not a problem there for Connor Nutting. He's been pushing for AFL selection, and it's not a bad way to start. And they managed to get the first goal of this quarter of the Sun, so maybe it's a bit of a changing of the tides here.
Kicked 2 in a row. Kicked the last 2 goals of the game.
Well, there you go. So bit of momentum building here.
Slow momentum. Took quite 11 minutes for that first goal of this second quarter. It worked. They got it long. They moved it relatively quickly from half forward there, and probably the better ball movement that we've seen from Gold Coast in this game.
Bit of chaos ball playing around there.
So let's have a look here. Can they string 2 together in a row in a quarter? Bit of wind out there. Hopefully you're enjoying this one on NEAFL TV. Tap up one this time from Amwalos. Came back his way. Went searching for Valor. Couldn't find him. Wrapped up in a tackle. Bailey Stewart, I think it was. And it'll be tossed up. Gold Coast side of the centre circle. Can they create something from nothing here? Sorry, Will. I'll keep going if you don't mind. Kick from Banwalis through midfield. The Foz just went in and under. That was real nice stuff from Sam Fletcher again. So the Suns building off half-back. Inside 50 it goes. Right the target. Good use of the body. Second effort will decide this contest. Right doing well. Bash it into the foot of a Students player, and then they managed just to lock it up in front of the scoreboard. Shows them trailing at the moment. 23 points.
So up into the air it flies, and that's been won down pretty convincingly by the Students. Looks like it's getting dangerously close to the boundary, and umpire's whistle's blown.
Free kick for a hold.
So he's had enough of that one. So Students a chance to get their way out of trouble here. Good little ball to Stevenson. Very easy handoff as they continue to go more diagonal this time. Bit of a foot race. Reinhardt underneath it along with Davies. And then another man's joined the foot race, just coming at the end of the marathon to try and take the lead there. He's done so well and just continues his run onto the left and hits wonderfully at the top of his jump, Selsby. So Selsby goes onto his right foot. 2 metre Peters there, and be as tall as you like, Peter, but you won't get to that one. Still a chance to go here, but it's just going to triple over in front of Lachlan McDonald.
Really good work there. Corey Ellis out of half-back for the Gold Coast Suns. Bit of run, bit of carry. He comes towards the bench now, but just stays on.
It'll be good to watch that man, Lachlan McDonald, you saw on the sideline. He's really got an AFL-ready tank. He's the junior 1,500-metre gold medalist.
Chance for the Suns inside their forward 50. Just ball shaking around there. Van Wallace couldn't quite get it out. Eventually a kick does come long and wide. Underneath it there is Alice. Got a fist, so it'll go back inside 50 for the Suns. Rushed a handball. Could have been in the back. Got numbers there. Barton, though, clean bowled him. Suns still a chance. Ball bouncing around. Did well there. Veiled underground kick. Alice was lurking. Wrapped up in a Bartholomeus tackle. Took him on, and umpire rewards Bartholomeus. One of the better tackles of the afternoon. Really strong, and Corey Ellis just didn't see him coming, so moves it short to Ed Cole. Really love his first name. Love how he plays across half-back too. Short one's good. Bartholomeus, another one we enjoy watching for Sydney Uni. Often returns home on a Saturday afternoon with leather poisoning. Just has it all day. Big long kick there. Waiting Lucy. The Foz was good. Came out to Sirakowski. And it will be tossed in right in front of the students' bench. Haven't troubled the scorers this quarter, Sydney Uni. Suns have done really well in this arm wrestle.
Certainly been trying to get their structures down a bit better, the Suns, and just play that frantic ball a little bit smarter. So it trickled out in front of Patelli. Instead, there he is, Bartholomeus. He'll go by hand, but it's going to... Well, there's Ace there under it, applying the tackle. Couldn't quite get far enough. And this will bounce up nicely. Butterick, he'll turn, just dodge his way through traffic. That's absolutely sensational from Butterick. Playing forward, won't be marked. Chance for Ace to run into it. Can he tap it forward? Because Greenwell's lurking around there as well. If he can continue this mounting pressure. He did manage to grab it, but instead spills into the path of one of the bigger men on the students' side. He can't wrestle it out, but they'll wrestle him to the ground.
How's the class there? Butterick off half back. Ace half forward. Ball, arguably, probably could have got a free kick for push in the back there. Umpire said play, go on, which don't mind also saying in the same sentence. Ruckman do battle. One down this time by Conroy. Students just with numbers at the fall of it. Sirakowski wanted a handball, but instead it goes longer to Lucy. Went off in that first quarter. Good to see him back out there. Short kick's good to Sirakowski. He'll just duck and weave. Just wrapped up in a small tackle. Came the way of Morrison. The Suns, though, their pressure has been really good. It's been a good response in this second quarter. As going down doing the fielding was Conroy. He was a bit slow, but it worked out okay. Gold Coast inside 50. And the chipping wobbly kick misses Peter Wright. And it lands in the chest of Ned Reinhard.
Bit of a shame there. Butterick was stringing such a great piece of play together. Oh, gee, that's going to get picked up. Davies underneath this. Can he wrestle himself free? No, he'll get picked up. Students will just make the clearance there by Foster, but that's really nicely intercepted down the far side by McLennan. So Jez McLennan having a look up onto the right foot. Doesn't quite reach its man. Crockmore gave off the inside ball, and they're playing forward dangerously here. It's changing hands between both sides. They can't quite get some consistent possession in this passage of play. We'll have to wait for this one to be thrown up, slow things down. Selsby makes his way back onto the ground. Came off with a big grin on his face, not quite sure why. Must be happy with himself. So trying to wrestle that through the middle here, and a chance for a clearance. Vella got his head over the ball, but got overrun. Suns here with a bit of chance for go forward, and forward it does go. That's got the right bounce. Maybe a bit of luck's changing for the Suns as well as the effort. Inside ball. But reading it the best there was Lachlan Kilpatrick, Eddie.
So Josh Gore was doing the kicking there for the Suns. Maybe rushed it a little bit. They should have another chance here, though. As Sydney Uni handballing out of defence, wrapped up in a tackle. Really good pressure. Josh Gore wanting to clean up his messy kick before. And it will be tossed up.
We like watching Josh Gore. He really likes to get under the skin of his opposition, and could be a good matchup for a few of the students' players. Not to mention names. We'll see how he goes. He's pretty crafty around the ground, so if he can continue building. I think he was on Allies duty earlier this season.
Late, or not a late call-up, but had a really strong NAB league earlier this year when the academies got to compete in that, as Wright wins this one down. Geez, that was a really game kind of just pluck off the top of the pack. And the Suns were waiting to lay the tackle.
Tom Banuelos was doing a bit of ruck work against Peter Wright, which is...
He's the relief man for Austin Lucy, I think, Banuelos. Wright wins this one down. It's a mismatch either way. The Suns, they've just got the numbers there. They're bashing it. Bit of volleyball going on, if you like. Through the traffic. That was really nice. Long kick to half forward. Barton plants himself underneath it. Going back with the flight was Kilpatrick. There's still a chance here, the Suns. Just handballing in front. Out wide now. Wright snapping around the body, and it's marked there by Kilpatrick.
It's a bold snap there from Peter Wright. He didn't have much time. Was never going to make the distance. Stevenson gives it off. Having a run around the side. Playing it forward. It's a 2-on-1. If they're clever, they'll pick it off, and clever they are. Well done, the Suns. And coming streaming out of nowhere there was Reinhard. Chance to rebound. So here's Veal. Gives off the inside ball before it's played through the spine of the midfield by the students. Kick onto the right, played. Mismatching contest. Foster gets outdone here. Geez, thrashing about. Here's Chris Burgess. But he won't be able to come away with this one.
Must have been touched off the boot there, that one from Burgess, because I thought he took it relatively cleanly. So
Cleanly enough.
a little bit stiff, perhaps.
If you're playing in the backyard, you'd certainly give him the mark.
Geez, really scoreless second quarter. Just the one goal, and that came the way of the Suns 10 minutes ago. Just into time on now as it goes forward. Huge collision of players. The mark has been paid. It somehow just stuck to the chest as 3 or 4 players down at the moment. Gutsy as you like. Austin Lucy, of course he's thereabouts. He's plucked himself up, as has Caleb Graham for the Suns.
You don't see many contests like that. It's like a bunch of bowling pins going down. There were so many of them.
So Tristan Davies just catching his breath at the moment in the hands of the trainers, just making sure everything is A-OK. Just having a look around who's just standing there in case he's got to go off to take his kick. But Davies looks like he'll be OK to line up the big sticks. That contest, though, on mark, so tough. The ball was drilled, 2-on-1 situation, and the 2-1 out with Davies, last man standing out the back, even though none of them were on their feet.
I'm sore from that contest.
So Davies comes in. Long, deliberate approach. It's a beautiful kick at goal traditionally. This one is sliding through. I love that one, the students. Tristan Davies, popular bloke, good kick at goal. And geez, they've come from everywhere because it's been a really hard second quarter for Sydney Uni.
They really did come around. It's not his birthday, is it? I'm a little bit concerned that we're missing something. They've really gotten around him. Mind you, with the mark he just took, it probably deserves that form of celebration. So tough and courageous.
Birthday a week ago, so maybe a bit late on that.
Yeah, probably don't count it. He did play last week, so.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought.
Leon looks at us, gives us the head shake, says it doesn't count as a birthday goal, and we'll have to move on. But a cracking goal nonetheless. One of the better marks, one for the highlight reel. So it has been a very goalless quarter, this one.
Just one apiece.
One apiece. Bit of a deadlock. Not a lot of goals. It's a bit like an unmotivated teenager. That's been played forward nicely by Stewart. Trying to grab this off the ground here. Lucy's back on the field, which is good to see, but his hand pass was not as good to see. So they're just trying to rip this one, a bit of run and go here through the middle. They're doing nice, real classy runs here if they can keep it. There's a really good, classy bit of defence there. Umpire doesn't mind it. He's shrugged, and away they go again by Lucy. Into a bit of path and space here. There'll be a bit of a wheel to the clearance. Underneath that, but trickling towards the boundary there is Hiscox, and it will just dribble out. Excellent play. So it's starting to get a little bit more frantic out here, and starting to see some second and third efforts come into play. Tap down there, can't be won cleanly. Stevenson nearly gets his hands on it, instead it's just ripped out through the middle. Morrison lets that one bounce away. There's Leslie under it, and he's wrapped up in a Tristan Davies tackle. Takes 2 of them to get down, watching him warm up. He's a pretty tall fella.
Just wait for the ruckman to make their way eventually to this stoppage. Umpire tosses the footy up now. Tagliabue grabbed it out, gave the handball to the running Louis Stevenson. Ducking, weaving, snapping around the body, missing the lot in the end.
Would have been pretty sensational had he have slowed that, but
just a class. Left foot, right foot, left foot, right foot. Bit of a dance routine. Just having a look at the stat sheet. Bartholomew leading possession getter at the moment. He's had 17. Louis Stevenson 15 for the Suns. Butterick, he's had 11, and Fletcher's had 9. So the kick comes in. The students just with numbers at their half-forward flank there, spoiling each other in the end. Tackling pressure, really good one again, and there's a free kick for a hold. It will go the way of the Suns, and it will go to that man, Chris Burgess. Effective across half-back. So we just wait for him to move play on. Pretty much every player on the paddock is out there. Big fly from behind. Going to pick it up, Holland Smith, snapping around his body. Will it stay in? Just about pings the I Love Blacktown sign right on the heart. And the free kick will go the way of the students. Short little chipper. Will work out well. They'll just work the footy slowly and thoughtfully across half back. And that one, well, not all that well thought out as it's turned over. They press forward again. It was Conan, big unrealistic fly, and the free kick will go the way of the Suns. So just building at the moment, Gold Coast.
Josh Gore a chance for the, well, not a chance, but almost a direct inside 50. Easy as you like, but can anyone get under it? Oh, wow. Nearly. Did he rip it out from there, Hall and Smith? Not quite. It's just going to go to deck once again. It's a good chance for a response here from the Suns. Can they make something of it? We're starting to tick late into this second quarter. Here we go, a bit of a run and go from the students. They're going to handball through traffic. Ed Cole gives a real shifty fast one off, and out they go by Morrison. There's another chance for an inside ball here, and some real nice bit of hard running. Bit of gut running there from Hiscox. Hiscox has a look up, drops onto his right boot. It's been picked off. Cannot be taken. Corey Ellis is going to have to spin out of trouble like a ballerina, and did so well, but the handball not so much. So Suns under a bit of pressure here. There he is, Butterick. Trusty left boot. Forward, but standing right at the back of the pack. No problems at all is Ned Reinhard. Can they swing things forward into their favour? Kicking over Greenwood.
So he goes long inside 50. Wants a mark. It will almost just bounce out the back. Foster's there. Flicks the handball straight up around the body. Sierakowski. Open goal square. How will it bounce? Not the way of the students, but they've got numbers. Davies, weird sort of handball. Could have been holding the footy. Tackling pressure really good from the Suns. But the free kick is going to go the way of the students for a hold. And Tristan Davies should go back and kick his second of the quarter.
He got ragdolled in 360 there, Davies, without the ball. So it does make sense. How about Harry Morrison? Tried to do the right thing.
Thought he gave an open-handed handball, which not by the letter of the law, as Davies just comes in and slots another. So they've kicked away again, Sydney Uni, just when at the start of this quarter it looked like Gold Coast have rearranged the chess set and started to get things on their terms. The students have kicked 2-1 this quarter and opened up a real handy 35-point lead in the shadows of half-time.
We've seen this happen a fair bit this year at NEAFL, where a side gets off to a real strong lead, about 30-odd points in the first quarter. From there, it's an arm wrestle. It's a back-and-forth even score, but just because of those first quarter antics, they just couldn't get themselves back in the game. So let's hope it's not one of those ones, and there's a chance for the Suns to really claw back some momentum. As we wait for their
still
ruckman.
Plenty of time to play this quarter, you'd suggest, Will, so perhaps a chance to steal one or two back, at least maybe win the quarter.
So into the ruck contest there was Conroy, but taken away by Banuelos. They managed to get a kick out of the way here. There's just students everywhere. They're just lining up for it. Real shoddy-looking handball to Hiscox. Hiscox gives it off. Look like Stewart, Ed Cole with a bit of work to do. But he's feeling all right about it. So he'll have a look up. He does have an option on his flank, but he decides to go to the one-on-one. Here's Foster. Can he compete for that? Loses everyone. Morrison with a chance to gather. If he can get it to Foster, he was screaming. And back onto it there, onto the assault. Great tackle laid there by Dirk Conan. Making sure that the young student didn't get anywhere out of his sight. They've certainly got a bit of a sniff for the goal now. They've had two off the boot of Tristan Davies. Did well there, Conroy, to get that one down, but they just can't quite get it out of here and into any real path of driving success. Ben Wells is holding him. He's thrashing about on the ground.
Looks like a fish out of water, didn't he? He's trying to pin down to scale and
riding an imaginary bicycle there.
So it's tossed up. Bit of good work from Ben Wireless. 1, 2, 3 out. Coming through Bailey Stewart. His handball turns straight over. So a chance here for the Suns. Handball came back away Butterick on that trusty left foot to half forward. Good use of the body there, Reardon. But they've got numbers out the back here, the students. Good, could have been holding the footy. Reardon again. Second effort was good. Goulden there. Siren sounds for half time. Just as you thought the Suns might have put something on the scoreboard, and they're trailing this one by 35.75 plays 2 straight. Going to take a break for half-time here at Blacktown International Sportspark. Can Gold Coast keep their winning streak going? We'll find out in a bit over an hour's time, I'd say.
rocket up this call.
Welcome back to the Blacktown International Sportspark. Half-time here. Players just making their way back to their positions. It's a 35-point lead. The way of Sydney Uni. We'll be kicking to the left-hand side of your NEAFL TV to get this second half underway. I'm Eddie Summerfield, joined by Will Jackson in commentary. Will, in a word, how can the Suns come back and make something of this contest and get something out of today?
Couldn't do it in one word, but if I had to give you a few, I'd just say they were obviously just caught napping in that first quarter. Much better second quarter performance. Maybe they can win the second half convincingly and storm home.
35-point lead the way of the students. Let's see, can the Suns make it 4 in a row and mount one of the great comebacks? The students with numbers through midfield. They'll get the first centre clearance of the afternoon. Good use of the body there by Stern. Handball came out the way there of Ed Cole to the forward pocket. Bit of a nothing kick, really. Just kicked it in the path there. Chance here for the students. They've got numbers. Handball came the way of Morrison. Shrugging, snapping, goaling. First one in 30 seconds for the students. And easy as you like, we're out to 41 points. How good was that from Harry Morrison, just to shrug the tackle, bit of a don't argue, and just snap it through.
Really good from Morrison. I think he kicked one in the first quarter, actually, across his body, similar spot. Just didn't have to shrug anyone off that time. So, good start by Sydney University. Not ideal for the momentum start we were hoping for from the Suns, but you'd expect them to respond from here.
Leading possession getters pretty much to half-time. We'll just get the right statistic up there. Bartholomeus 18, Stewart 16, Stevenson 16 for the Suns. Butterick's had 13, Burgess 11, Reardon with 10. Footy back in the middle.
What can they make of this? Drilled into the turf. Up it goes. Stewart did really well there. Bartholomeus will get the clearance. Bit of a torpedo style. It's just crumbed away ever so nicely. It's the same man again. Harry Morrison, would you believe it? 2 in a row for him. That's momentum. What an absolute cracker of a goal.
2 in 45 seconds out of the middle. How easy was that for the students? Bailey Stewart was thereabouts, just getting that clearing kick from the midfield. Our goal kickers, of course, to date. Harry Morrison now has 4 goals, 2 in the first 30 seconds of this third quarter. Davies has 2, Foster, Stern and Hiscox with 1 apiece. And for the Suns, Conroy kicked his first of the season and Connor Nutting got one in the second quarter.
They got plenty of work to do, the Suns.
Understatement.
Understatement, absolutely. But the students, they'll be happy with the start of that.
They haven't had a possession yet this quarter, the Suns. They've conceded 2 goals, so let's hope they can try and get their hands on the footy from this stoppage. Ball will go up, then straight back down. Peter Wright won it down. Here's a chance for the Suns. They'll get numbers just around it there. Tagliabue ripped the Suns player's head off. Surely should have been a free kick. Umpire ignored it, and it's Sam Fletcher who'll pick himself up off the bottom of the pack. As Wright and Tagliabue prepare to lock horns again. Neither won it down cleanly. Bartholomeus went without it. Stewart went back via hand. That was nice. He'll win it backwards. Then he'll come out wide with the drop punt. He'll make Bartholomeus work, but it bounced straight his way. Handballing over the top. Ducking and weaving. Really nice stuff, Louis Stevenson. Came the way there of the students to half forward, Will.
Stevenson did really well to hold himself up there. Ed Cole with a chance to go forward. Gives it off to Stern. Could he link up with him again? No, he'll put it to the top, and there's absolutely no student in sight. Being one of the easy defensive marks you'll take today. So a bit of a chance to move this one and get a bit of go forward of their own. So important at this point. Having a look around, just scanning the ground. What can you see? Butterick's trying to make a bit of a run here. 2 metre Peter just couldn't be found. Instead it was Bartholomeus. Daggering ball there. Goes right, says, here you go, you can have it back. So Fletcher now holding it out. He'll go by hand towards the wing. Pushed up forward. Oh, I thought it was going to be picked off again by that man, but it was not. Instead, Lockie McDonald. He's real fit, this guy, but he's not going to have a chance to display that in this particular passage. So he's going to have to kick this one away. Bit of a chip, and it's a really well-weighed one there to Butterick. So what can Butterick do? Gets a bit of a move in the lead, but he's actually just coming off the bench. Making his way onto the ground there, Mitch Reardon. Goes long. Students fly. Not quite taken. It's
yes,
umpire.
it is.
Yes, they're going to pay it.
The way of
Tim
the
Barton.
students. So Barton Got a bit lucky there, perhaps, as his drop punt stays low and is well marked. Sierakowski, he'll transfer play to the I Love Blacktown side of the ground. Kilpatrick will have a bit of work to do in that pocket. Couldn't quite find the handle on the footy. Chance here for the Suns. Really good tackling pressure, but they're quite happy to see it go out of play for a throw-in.
So they're trying a few different things here, Eddie.
They are.
A few new moves, a few party tricks.
So we wait for the footy to come in. Right there, won it down, looking for Ace. Couldn't quite find him. Vella's got it, wrapped up in a tackle, and it will be tossed up.
The stoppages here have been quite interesting. Neither ruckman's getting clean taps down to his midfielders, so fair bit of congestion.
As it came out the way, Stewart. Ace was there too. And we will do all of that once again.
Bit of Groundhog Day for you.
Yes, very
Eddie.
much so.
Bit of remembrance as they go again here. There's a bit of clean ball there. George Holland-Smith had a chance to go for goal, but it's not going to go too far, unfortunately. Will Sierakowski will make short work of that. Carroll says, get your hands off me. I've got a kick to make. Having a look, if you decide to play short, he does have Reinhardt as an option, but decides to go towards the other Sierakowski of the Andrew flavour. But that's been spilt, and playing out there was pretty nicely done. A chance to go forward with Corey Ellis. Receiving that from Selsby. So Ellis goes forward onto that left boot. Good booming kick up high. A few guys getting knocked out to the side. Playing here. Wright gives it. Is it going to bend enough? Here it is. It's certainly going to bend, and it's going to go through for a goal. Excellent response there. Peter Wright finally making his presence felt up forward to kick a cracking, snapping kick.
Saw Peter Wright go up in the marking contest then, and the ball just clunked into his hand, and the big fella, you'd expect him to mark that 9 times out of 10, but how good was he at ground level? Picked it up, second effort was really good, and snapped it around, and a goal, it'd be an understatement to say the Suns certainly did need that.
Certainly did. It's their third for the match. Their average of 1 a quarter by my mathematics, but it could be the spark they need.
At least they're accurate, 3 straight. This is turning into a really crucial game for the Suns, with Canberra looking likely to record a win this afternoon. So they potentially, if things go as they are at the moment, they'll drop 2 places down the ladder into 8th position as it's pinged into the turf again. The goal kicker Wright won that tap down pretty easily. Can they just muster something here? Holland-Smith head over it, got it backwards. Wright bent over, picked it up, couldn't get a clean kick away. Came out eventually to Bailey Stewart to half forward. Louis Stevenson, a good mark taken there by the Suns.
Excellent mark downfield. And he's got a chance to move and go. So let's just go laterally. They're going to hold this here. What can he make of it here, McLennan? He'll just go short to Jack Leslie. So Leslie looking up. Could hit Davies. But he says, no, I'm going to go long. Awkward contest. Gilpatrick did well to knock off Nutting. And a great tackle made there from Butterick. Nutting trying to get in the way. Here comes Greenwell. And he's lightning if we can get him on his skates. But no, it's going to be held up. Good tackle. Patelli and Greenwell. Crunch him over out of bounds.
The intent's certainly been there, Will, this second half for the Suns. Just unfortunately for them, the first 2 minutes of play, they couldn't find a possession, and the students were able to bang 2 goals on the board. As Wright went the double fister, won it down. Valor cut it off, though. The students just with numbers behind it. Good pick up by Darcy Cordell, wrapped up in a tackle from Fitzroy Greenwell, and it will be tossed up again. Half forward flank for Gold Coast. Peter Wright kicked the last goal of this game if you've just joined us on NEAFL TV. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Thanks to our broadcast partners, Bar TV, doing a great job behind the camera, Leon. Kick goes inside 50 from Selsby. They've got a chance here, the Suns. There's a 2-on-2 situation. Really good use of the body. Kicked out in front. They've done well there through Michael Carroll for the students. But here goes Gold Coast. Handball over the top was good. Came out the way of Conroy. Dribbling towards goal. Pings into the post. First minor score of the day, Will.
And lose that perfect goal-scoring record. But forget the goal-scoring record. It's all about the attempts, the shots at goal. If that continues to go up, they're starting to gel a little bit better. They're only a young side, plenty of teenagers out there, but get the sense of shrugged aside. There's an example, just the mismatch in bodies. Sierakowski gave it to Cole, who got it to Vella. Vella tried to make the clearance, but some excellent defence from the Suns is seeing them go forward again. There's Holland Smith as he wheels, sends it on to his right, but that'll be picked up and wasting absolutely no time. The Students, awkward looking kick, doesn't get too far. Bartholomeus has a bit of a hit and go over his head. Butterick there to clear it up. Have a look at him run. Good bit of shepherding there, and that's just not the kick he would have hoped for. And Goulden will just turn around and try and make something of this laterally.
So his kick's a good little short one, Veal. He'll just continue to transfer the play as easy as you like. Lockie Kilpatrick, long to half forward, held up in the wind a little bit, but it's a good mark. Handball came the way of Stern. Stern went without it. Chance for the Gold Coast again across half back, although the Students' pressure was really good. Austin Lucy dishing it backwards to Stern, to half forward. Standing all alone and marking is Leslie. So Leslie just has to look up, realises there's not much doing, so we'll kick to a contest. Bamualis will fly. Conroy was there for Gold Coast, picked off by Andrew Sierakowski to half forward. Austin Lucy the target on the I Love Blacktown wing, but it goes out of play on the full.
Not quite what they would have hoped for. A good chance here for the Gold Coast Suns. So they've got options out here. Having the kick, and that's nicely done. Corey Ellis, ball in hand, scanning the ground. Who can help him get a bit of go forward here? Bit of urgency. Play onto the left foot. Holland Smith's taken that. But unfortunately, it's going to trickle out of bounds. And it's on the full. Not what you want at all. So Students lining up. One person inside 50. Awkward ground ball there, Bartholomeus. Gives it back, and they'll just reverse things up. And then reverse once again. So, like getting out of your driveway, they just continue this move out. Darcy Cordell will find this into his chest. Few options, and a bit of a run here. Foster needs to, well, he tried to be clever there, just couldn't quite outsmart Butterick. Not many do, to be fair.
All Australian in the under-18s for the Carnival there in the back pocket. Had a really good series for the Allies as it's tossed in. Centre wing, right used the body well. Bamualis in the ruck also did okay. Sierakowski was there. Ace also. Butterick charging through on hands and knees, stood up, got a handball out, charging through Greenwell, couldn't quite. Louis Stevenson cut it off, handball straight into the corridor. Here's the lead Greyhound, back by a hand. Cordell kicks out to the win. Josh Stern, he's got a bit of time here. Does he have the poise and composure? Weaves around one. The composure's there. Tick. The poise was good too. Cordell charging through. Threw it out in the end. Umpire called play on. Hiscox went without it. Chance here for the Suns. Streaming through the middle. Ducking and weaving. Corey Ellis, the captain today, goes out to Greenwell. Ellis kept coming. Handball into a bit of space. Ace came charging through too. Good pick up. Tackle laid on Fletcher. Did he get it out? Did he get it out? Umpire circles. Give it to me. Toss up. Half forward flank for Gold Coast.
So much going on there just then. Well called, Eddie. It was frantic stuff. Again, trying to string some things together. Peter Wright knocks it down. Louis Stevenson was standing over the top of it, but couldn't get it out. Vella making his presence felt, but getting drilled into the turf there. Just another one of these classic arm wrestles. Bit of congestion at centre half forward. Can they get a bit of up and go? And gusto smashed forward in the ruck contest. Greenwell lurking. Can he get his hands on the pill and make something of this? No, it's not going to go very far once again. There'll be another ball up.
Tell you what, if I was Gold Coast, just look to get a chipping kick forward. You've got Matt Conroy, one out in the goal square at the moment. If they can just get one from this stoppage, the Students have other ideas. Vella tries to scrum it to half forward. Here's a chance. Holland Smith charging through, wrapped up in a Lockie Kilpatrick tackle, driven into the turf. It's in the back. Well umpired there. Holland Smith was charging forward. Lockie Kilpatrick was riding in tow like he was a camel. And then as he went down, head first, he was right in his back, Lockie Kilpatrick, and George Holland Smith should go back and kick a goal here, the former Cat. This is his 5th game in the NEAFL this year. He's kicked 2 goals, 1. Directly in front. Bit of wind out there today. Probably have to put this at the right goal post. as he begins his approach to give the Suns 2 goals in a row in a quarter for the first time today. Hall and Smith goes bang. They've got 2 in a row, the Suns. They've levelled things up on the scoreboard for this quarter. And we are back to a 34-point margin. Apologies, they're actually winning the quarter by a point.
It's the small victories that matter at this point.
You take a small win every day of the week, don't you? Small wins lead to big victories.
So could this be the little spark, bit of push? There's still quite a few points behind, but the reality is there's not that many goals behind and plenty of time left.
Yeah, I know it's a reality of modern footy, but Hall and Smith and Alice both off the ground after that passage and play. So when you need a bit of momentum, you need to learn how to win. You'd like to see your better players just staying out on the paddock, but a chance for the teenagers of this young side to see what they can do at the moment. Ball's pinged into the turf again. Charging through was Bailey Stewart in the end. Couldn't quite get the handball out. Gold Coast inside 50 again. Another centre clearance. This is boding well for them this quarter. Handball was slick as they eventually just try and work things out, and then Cooper Portelli just fumbles it across the line after a bit of pressure from Adam Goulden.
Certainly they were trying a few things though there.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's clever, and you can see it's a youthful tactic, isn't it? They're almost just going to go playoff instinct at this point. Can he out-instinct their opponent? Peter Wright doing really well in this ruck battle so far. Sam Tagliabue's no sloth.
Holding the footy.
Holding the football. So excellent tackle here. Nutting trying to rip that out. So what can he do here? Connor Nutting. He does a bit of a drilling kick. Goes over, almost lost it in the sun there, Peter Wright. It's going to bounce out the back and play forward. Can't be shoveled out and scratched in, but no, umpire doesn't like that one. Back with me, fellas. Nice try, Ed Cole.
Tackle count today, Gold Coast 52. Students 32, so the intent has certainly been there. Obviously there's going to be a little bit more tackles the way of the Suns because they've been second to the footy a lot this afternoon. Tossed in there in attack. Can they string 3 in a row together? Bashed inside 50. Students have numbers here. Cordell went without it. Picked up by Louis Stevenson. He's a booming kick. Got it to half-back. In fact, it will bounce almost to the wing. Austin Lucy went without it. A bit more camelback riding going on at half-back for the Students. And it will be tossed up.
It's like a night at the saloon in the south of the US.
Isn't it?
A lot of rodeo bull riding. So, tapped down by Tagliabue. Vela just absolutely scones an opponent in the head there.
Pushing the back, free kick to the Suns. So things are going their way at the moment, aren't they, Will?
Yeah, you feel a bit of a shift here, certainly. Luck always plays a part, but you make your own luck. So ball in hand, Sam Fletcher.
So where's Peter Wright?
You can see him around the top of the goal square. It's a little bit out to the side. You've got a couple of big men there, so they opt for that. It's a pretty straightforward tactic. Gee, nearly flying and grabbing that, but coming away is Andrew Sierakowski. Ball's been touched, so the mark won't count. Foster has to clear it away ever so awkwardly. Dirk Conan will be the man to clear up the mess. So ball in hand, he's got a bit of work to do still over Morrison. Playing towards the boundary, it will just trickle through. So not quite the result they wanted. There was a very large contest there. Plenty of bodies flying at it.
Good to see Conroy and Wright just both going at it. Perhaps maybe only one of the big fellas should have gone as it's tossed in half forward for Gold Coast. Peter Wright will win this one down. Good little pick up out the back. Underground worm burning sort of kick inside 50. It'll bounce there. Lockie McDonald was leading the foot race to it, but he gets just put over the fence.
Lets his bowels really feel that fence.
Stretching the calves and hamstring too as he goes through.
So what can they make of this one? A real chance here to tick over the 30-point mark and just pull themselves within reason. Vela thrashing about. Try and get the ball out of the contest here. That won't play. Umpire says no. Bring it back. But still an excellent attacking position for them. You've seen Peter Wright just try and punch it forward a few times, and I think he goes with that strategy there. Bailey Stewart underneath trying to crumb and clean up. Stevenson with a bit of work to do. Here come the Students. Hiscox onto his trusty left. Right forward into the path. So awkward and bouncing. Greenwell loses his footing on maybe a banana peel left out in the middle of the field. Try and chip it away here, and a couple of numbers here for the Students. Bartholomeus really clever over the top of a couple of opponents. Hiscox was running there. Ed Cole will send it inward and it'll be picked
Oh dear,
off.
have a look at this. Peter Wright streaming into space on the wing. He'll go that direction now, marking strongly in front of Louis Stevenson. Students just urge back, so Peter Wright wheels around on the right boot. That's a big booming kick, probably the longest we've had today. Bounces right in the hot spot. Chance here for the Gold Coast Suns. They got a really kind bounce. Surface didn't go their way. Handball came back, snapping around the body to make it 3 in a row for Gold Coast. Missing to the right, Cooper Portali.
They needed that.
Good ball movement.
Really good ball movement. We saw Peter Wright kick a goal like that. He's bent that little bit more. So, getting their way out of trouble through the corridor. Andrew Sierakowski on the receiving end of that one. He'll go out towards the I Love Blacktown wing. One-on-one contest there and just punched over by Austin Lucy there as we wait for another ball in. Been plenty of those. I'd like to see him run through the corridor. Both of these sides are such strong runners, so just doesn't seem to be the case in modern football that you play that way.
Just kick it to a contest by contest. Peter Wright, he'll just walk up and take that one out of the ruck unopposed. Got it to half forward in the end. They've got numbers here, the Suns. Hard contest. Reinhardt bent over, picked it up, gave it to the running man Walos. Shrugged off the option of a handball, then a wobbling, half weird sort of kick to half forward. The students have the numbers. Davies received the handball, flicked it inside 50, looking for the Glebe Greyhound. It's picked off by Ace. Ace, a tumbler to half back, it turned straight over. Hiscox charging through, gave it to Valor. Valor handballing out of trouble. Good tackling pressure again from the Gold Coast Suns. This time Riley Buckland is the man doing the hard work. And there's a blood rule. So the pressure really good there. You just thought the students, they had a bit of space across half forward, Will, and just couldn't quite make the most of it. Tristan Davies and Valor.
They're certainly getting involved in the engine room down there for the students.
As the 4-time goal kicker for this afternoon, Harry Morrison. He kicked 2 goals in 2 minutes of play. It was exhilarating at the start of this half. He comes off with a blood nose by the looks of things.
Tends to be the difference. A sloppy start, could have really made this game look a little bit closer. So tap down there, but in favour of the students. It won't go very far. I feel like every time I start talking, the ball just shuts down. Maybe I should just wait a little bit until we start calling it. Up it goes once again. One down by the students. Did well then, Banuelos. Gives it off. Goulden plays it up in the air. It's just really hard to get it out at the moment. Few Suns lurking. They've certainly got the numbers here. Can they just play forward? No, they can't. It's an inside centering kick towards the top of the goal square, but marking delicately there and really well done as McDonald plays out to the far side. Ace. You'd want to see him run. I reckon he would have had him for the mustard. Did well.
Mark, really
George
good.
Holland-Smith using his experience. Will he get 50 here?
Or maybe not. Just held up by Valor. He wanted the 50 Holland-Smith, didn't he? It gives the students the chance to just block up a few holes. Handball came the way of Ace. So Ace just has a look around. Doesn't have a lock going. Fitzroy Greenwell gives him something up the wing. Ignores that. Goes a bit longer. Looking for Wright. Big pack of players. Lots of students fly. It'll bounce out the back though. Josh Gore runs onto it. Takes one bounce. Lines them up. Does he drill a goal? No. Misses to the right.
Probably had a bit more time there as well, Josh Gore, and keep running. You either force that
handball over the top.
Yeah, the Joey the Goose.
So the students again off the hook. Bit of momentum the way of the Suns as the short one comes in. 32-point ball game. Hopefully you're enjoying this one on NEAFL TV. Thanks to our friends at Bar TV as the kick comes in for the students to half back. They've got numbers, so they'll pick it up nicely. Veal, helicopter kicked right onto the hill on the I Love Blacktown wing.
Could see a little bit of crowd spilling out to the hill, the sunny end of the hill.
That's where we'd be if it wasn't for the sun affecting the camera and that kind of thing with a broadcast, just in the shade of the grandstand here at Blacktown. Bit of a crowd in the house as well. Double header out here at Blacktown this evening. Grand final rematch. Been waiting for this one all season. As the umpires plucked a free kick. Bit of holding going off the ball. Nick Foster. No doubt a bit of lip going either way as well there. And the Foz wins out. So he's got it at half forward for the students. Has a look up. Gold Coast, they've actually marked up reasonably well here. As he goes square. 23 gone, third quarter. Short kick backwards. Finds Reinhardt. So he now looks to transfer play. He's got the Glebe Greyhound running, and he'll mark there. Hiscox looks to go on quickly. Eventually does. Kick-up's really good. Andrew Sierakowski marks. It's smothered off the boot. Good pressure from Gold Coast. Barton could have copped one in the back as he fumbles it over the boundary line. It'll be tossed in.
So what can they make of it here? We're just getting to that point where it's a bit of a stalemate in the middle. Haven't seen a scoring shot in a while. Josh Gore, a couple of behinds have been that way. Playing here, the relief ruckman, try and get involved. Nothing was there, and Patelli gets the clearance away, but it's not going to go too far, but it's spilt out. And who can do the crumbing here? The more important part of it. So as they go, Andrew Sierakowski, he's been doing a lot of cleaning work lately. Stevenson gets as far as Goulden, but he's got to be a company there, but steps inside of him and plays towards Crockmall. 2-on-1, good use of the body. Stewart goes to Crockmall. Bit of a run here and go. Inside 50, looking for Davies. It's going to get punched over the boundary sign towards some more hill sitters out there.
Good movement end to end there for the students. Had the extra man on that wing and used it really well. So can they get one against the flow of plays? It's tossed in. Tagliabue got to the front from Conroy, hanging out the back, snapping around the body. Here's Cox as he got it. He does. Excellent goal there from Bartholomeus. Apologies. And they've just absolutely plucked something out of nothing there, the students. Gets the flow of play. Tagliabue down the throat of Bartholomeus, and it was a really, really good goal there for Sydney Uni.
Exceptional goal, and just broke a bit of a run of non-scores, and you can see it's important to them. There's a bit of a celebration going on.
Interesting, if you've been watching the stoppages throughout today, Bartholomeus, I've noticed, has just been unopposed a lot of the time. He's a real danger man. He's won a couple of nominations for the Rookie of the Rising Star Award for the NEAFL both this year, and I think he got one last year as well.
The Chaz Wilkinson Award.
Did he at the club, Rising Star?
That's right.
Very good.
Very handy player, and probably not one you want to be left unmatched, like you said, Eddie. Played down Tagliabue, looking for that man, Bartholomeus, and charging through the middle he goes. Picked up by Ed Cole. He's got a bit of work to do as well. Foster spins around, back to Cole. Will it spill out here for anyone? Not quite anyone, perhaps the umpire. He'd be racking up the disposals if he were counting for them. He's had plenty of work to do. Up and down the ground. So who's going to get the next score here and really make something of it? Clearance made and played away. Trying to clear this one up with Stevenson. Stevenson gave it off to Sierakowski, gave it off to Crockmall. Playing forward, chance to run. Students have got numbers out here as well, so they're just running into quite a lot of empty space. Nice contested mark there. Tristan Davies on the lead. Could have easily seen that one go down. He's got a minor leader here, but he's just going to go out the back door. Sitting underneath it. Can't be taken. Well, it can, just not by the man he wanted to take it. So good reset there. Jack Leslie, I believe, ball in hand.
So he has a look forward. Just walk around the man on the mark. It's Burgess, in fact.
It is.
Flicked to the handball, wanted it back, did Burgess. Cut off there by Flipper Stern. Did well on hands and knees. Sierakowski will end up with it, wrapped up in a tackle. Good pressure from the Suns again. Across half back as it came out, but the umpire said, no, let's give it to me. Mitch Reardon hands it back to the umpire. And they need one here, the Suns, just to give them a little bit of hope going into that final quarter. As it ricochets out the back, snap around the body is turned straight over. And the students through Louis Stevenson will just have a look, sun in his eyes, so he'll just blaze away to the hot spot. Big pack of players. Lead comes from Davies from the side. Couldn't quite mark. Suns players were smart, didn't go up. Just happy to wait out the back for it. High kick to half back. It's cut off. Good mark there from Cordell. So has a look forward. Called to play on now. Short to the pocket. Good use of the body then by the Suns defenders. Bartholomeus could have copped one high. Umpire said no. And we'll toss it up.
So slowing things down out there today. Try and get a move on here. It's nearly 29 minutes gone in this quarter. Both ruckmen leave that one just let it hit the ground. Try and get a bit of a run on there was Ace, but Cordell will get that one back. He just couldn't mark it. Man, just to make the tackle, almost looked high. Thrashing about was high, taken around the shoulders. Well pointed out. Actually just says it's nothing really, and we'll just throw it up. So, clashing of the horns there. And so there was one out there by the Suns. Charging in there was Stevenson. He almost gave a flick pass. Looked a little bit dodgy here. Here's a chance to line up the goal. Hiscock sends one through from behind. Just the 1 point there for Jack Hiscox.
Goal kicking has been pretty good this afternoon from both sides. Kick-ins are an absolute ripper. Hits Ace lace out. Has a look forward, now goes, drop punt's a real good one to this contest. Big fly, Goulden couldn't mark, ball spilled down, came out the way, Bartholomeus flicked the handball further afield to Ed Cole, his kick was smothered. So Gold Coast defenders working overtime, flick handball, came out the way there as Reardon went backwards, cut off by the Foz turned it straight back over and the Suns somehow get out of defence. Reardon was clean bowled, left it for his guy at third man who was also clean bowled.
Sub through for a 4.
Save them. So footy will be tossed in. So Tackleabu and Conroy went out the back. Neither of them got there. Cordell just rode the bump beautifully. Put it inside 50. It'll bounce awkwardly out the back for them. The Suns, though, they've got the numbers and the kick will come out wide to Hall Smith and it's well marked.
Really good kick there from Dirk Conan. Straight to Hall Smith. So Hall Smith trying to get a bit of go forward. Doesn't go very far, unfortunately. Bit of a chance here for Selsby as he wraps that around his head, nutting onto his right boot. Who's that? But Butterick is trying to have a run. A bit of jersey holding there, and rightly so. It's Josh Gore making himself a nuisance, but they're going to be beaten by the siren here unless Josh Gore wants to put in an absolute sailing torp.
So the wind at the moment, Will, it's coming from behind the grandstand, from the right to the left of your screen. So if he can get onto a barrel here and let the wind do the rest, Joshy Gore, who knows?
Let's see what he's made of onto his trusty left boot.
He's on it.
It's a really, really big kick, but unfortunately it's just going to sail out of bounds on the full, and that'll close out this third quarter. Another bit of an arm wrestle, but the students staying to get away late in it. Come and join us again for the final term. Could be an absolute cracker here out of the Bisp.
Welcome back to the Blacktown International Sportspark. Players are about to just get back into their positions for this final quarter. It is a 39-point lead the way of Sydney Uni if you've just joined us, which will mean they'll move to 5th position on the NEAFL table if the Suns can't cause a miracle comeback. I'm Eddie Summerfield, joined by Will Jackson in commentary as we just wait for the umpire to get play underway. Leading possession getters on the ground. Bartholomew has had 28. Stevenson has had 27. Here's Will Jackson to get the final quarter here at the Bisp underway.
So waiting for this one to be bounced, and there it goes. Smashed down and played out in front of the Suns, but Bailey Stewart should gather this. Instead, he opts for the big kick. I actually think that might have gone to Nick Foster in the face. Bit of a run and charge here through Banuelos. Turning, having a look. Harry Morrison, can he get this one out? There is still a chance here, and they're still alive. Trying to bend that one around. Doesn't he make the most of that? They've started this quarter the exact way they started the last. And this time it was Josh Stern on the end of some very quick play to get the first goal of the final term.
His second goal for the day as well. Morrison has kicked 4, as you mentioned there, Will. He had a really good second quarter. Davies has 2. And for the Suns, all singles, Conroy, Nutting, Holland Smith and Peter Wright. So dream start really for the students, wasn't it? They just won it out of the middle again. Harry Morrison, it was ducking and weaving, but it was Flipper Stern just waiting out the back. Got the handball and bent it through for a really nice goal.
Really good finish there, and Stewart elected to not pick it up and just play it forward. And in a game like this, I think just getting it into your 50, you're always a chance, aren't you? So probably the right decision, Ed.
So it bounced again. Good work by Tagliabue against Wright, but it will be Holland Smith winning the clearance. A floater to half forward, parking himself underneath it was Bailey Stewart. Good mark. So the students will reload across half back. That was a really good kick. Mark's taken. Bartholomew inside 50. Morrison will fly from the side. Well done there, Banuelos. Flipper Stern there too. Students just working it out between each other. Tristan Davies, lace up, couldn't quite mark on this occasion. Ed Cole, good use with the one hand. Don't know how he's going to get it out. Umpire agrees with me and we'll toss it up. So we're about 30 metres out if you've just rejoined us for this final quarter. We're out of the students' goal mouth. Tap down the way of Sirakowski on the left boot. Beautiful finish. Yes. Great goal there for the students. The tap ruck work from Tagliabue. Again, outstanding.
Really good finish. Again, those last 2 goals have just come off the back of very quick play, sharp look up, and just make sure you get that kick driven home. And gee, they've really made the most of their opportunities this time.
Such a good ruckman, Sam Tagliabue. Great to watch when he can get a bit of space, which he really did then in the contest. We saw one in the third quarter where he tapped it straight down to Bartholomew. That time, another really good tap down and a really good goal the way of Will Sirakowski.
And he's had a difficult opponent for most of the day, Peter Wright. So to manage to box him out, duke it out and actually tap it into some space.
Would you give him the points, Tagliabue, over Wright this afternoon?
Well, I typically ask Champion Dar for that, but I'd give him the points. Well,
actually, gut feel?
No, I'd give Wright the points, but I mean, at the moment, it's all Tagliabue traffic as he wins that one. But coming away with this on the ground there was...
So who are you giving the points to?
Peter Wright. I'm going with Peter Wright. I feel like for most of the day, he has been winning the tap downs. But in the past 3 minutes and 20 seconds, it's certainly been Sam Tagliabue. So, playing out here, Darcy Cordell swings it around onto his left boot. Trying to get a bit of run forward was Austin Lucy. It won't go too far. It's a good bit of running and show and go there. And a turn of events, they just can't... They're just losing it in the sun at this point. Nothing's going right. Ned Reinhard puts just an absolute shocker in, but it could pan out for him. Or the Gold Coast look like they're about to pounce off some shoddy play. Good hand pass into space. Chance to run from Buckland. Buckland puts another awkward ball forward. And it's done well by Greenwall to spoil it. He's having to grab jumper and neck and everything else in between to stop it. Playing on the ground here. Ferocity at ground level. And umpire says that's enough. We'll throw this one up.
So we were speaking earlier today, Will, about small wins, and something that Suns will be looking for is maybe just to walk away with winning this quarter. A young side today, but the students have other ideas. Low at the fall of it. The Suns have the numbers here as a party comes, and it will be tossed up. Really interesting. Percentage doesn't matter a whole heap now for the students. They've got that draw on the board. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of mood they play out this final quarter, as the tackling pressure again really good from Peter Wright. Of course, with Canberra just bashing down the door of the students, there will be that interesting battle throughout the year just between those two clubs, who might be fighting for that sixth position on the table come the end of the season.
So knocked down forward into space. Students come away with this one again. If they can get the foot race here, I'd back Jack Leslie in at this point, and yeah, he's winning it pretty convincingly. Gives off a hand pass inside. McLennan decides to go dangerously through traffic. He's been good here running and playing. A little look around was Conan, goes back to Leslie. They're under a bit of pressure here and sometimes not making the best decisions, but McLennan's done really well in this case. Gives it to the unnumbered. Plays forward. Having a go again. Patelli goes off the inside. McDonald over the top. Going through the corridor, which we always like to see. Couldn't quite get his kick away. It's a bit of an outnumbered contest here, but Greenwall's trying to make his influence felt. He's got other ideas. 2 metre Peter gets onto the ground. Ellis onto his left. Helicoptering towards goal. Can't be marked. Oh, wow.
Oh, not paid.
No, not paid. It's going to be touched. He's going to try turn and give it away. Just an absolute smother fest out there right now. No one can get it out cleanly. Playing down the line, I'm sure it'll be a ball up, and it will be. Students' defensive coach, pat yourself on the back. That is extraordinary effort.
Pressure really good. Mitch Reed and the last man standing, he was tackled. Couldn't quite get a kick away. Tossed up, Suns in attack. Wright won it down to the running Greenwall. Couldn't quite get a kick away. Valor's there, Reardon too. Peter Wright just did it himself. His kick was smothered. The ruckman do battle again. Wright crumbing. Wright awkwardly on the left boot, snapping a goal. Really good work from Peter Wright. Did it all. Bit of ruck work, bit of spoiling over the top, and then he did a bit of crumbing from a Tagliabue bash and just put it awkwardly for the big fella on the left boot, and it sailed through for the Suns' 5th goal of the day, and Peter Wright's 2nd.
Did look awkward, didn't it? He's a natural right footer, if I'm not mistaken, so good on him for putting through a left foot snap under pressure. Not a lot of people could do that, let alone not a lot of people over 2 metres tall could do that, even on their good foot. So good little strong response. Still feel like they're a little bit far out of this one. 45 points behind at this point. But like you said, small wins, win the quarter, restore some pride. Nothing wrong with that.
Plenty of teenagers out there today. Probably one when you look at these two sides on paper that if the students are playing well, then they're probably going to do it as it's bounced again. Ben Wireless did well. Valor just tried to trap the ball. Hall and Smith was just holding Valor in place as Bailey Stewart came charging through, trying to extract. Valor eventually did the extraction. Inside 50, floating kick. Davies underneath it. Couldn't quite mark. Suns, their defence is under pressure here. 2-on-1 situation. They'll want to get it out. Via hand, probably not ideal. The only opportunity, Harry Morrison's press is good. He's taken to ground. Just put it to touch. Dragged it in this time. The crowd wants holding the ball. Holding the ball it is. It'll be a raffle to see who gets the free kick here. Austin Lucy, who I feel just had a fingernail on that tackle, grabs the footy and he'll go back and kick a goal. Just about mark this one down. The tackling pressure from Sydney Uni. Really, really good there. And the Suns' defence just under pressure. They couldn't quite get that kick out of defence. They got caught handballing. Austin Lucy charges in, mark it down, and we are back out to a 51-point ball game.
Really liking the unity of the Sydney Uni players. Every goal has meant a lot to them. They've really gotten around each other. It's a sign of a good team, and like you said, they play so many weeks frequently, consistently together. So it's always a big part of it, but I think it bodes really well for a team who's trying to make that charge towards final and perhaps build up a bit of form heading into finals should they get there.
Well, bit of a stop for them after this week. They've got a bye next week, so a chance to just reflect on the season. Then they come up against Aspley, whose form is a little bit indifferent. Then they're up against Canberra again. So, as you mentioned, Will, win this one. A chance to build some momentum against a couple of sides who you're really contending with for those middle rungs of the table.
So now we turn our attention towards the middle of the ground. The restart. A few Suns players in the middle still throwing their bodies completely on the line. Tap down Ben Wallace. Double ruck relief work being done in the middle. It's not going to get far. Umpire puts his hands up. Good little duck and turn and weave. Snapped away inside 50. Under that one is the big fella himself. Big Peter Wright. So let's see how he goes this time on his right foot. The old right peg. Should make this one look a bit less awkward than the last one, I hope, Eddie.
This is what he's been put back in the twos to do. Take some marks up forward and kick goals. Lining up for his third this Savo.
So in comes Peter Wright. Looks really good, the drop at the very least. But unfortunately, the rest of the kick didn't look as good to the umpires. Just fading out to the left at the last second. Students having to pick their way out from here. Chance of a reset, being let off the hook a little bit there.
Louis Stevenson, ball in hand. He's just going to go long up the middle. Look at that booming kick. Sierakowski the target. Good use of the body. That was really tough there from Wright, but the ball will ricochet out the way of Austin Lucy on the I Love Blacktown wing. Goes out wide to his running man in Cordell. Up to half forward. Harry Morrison on the half volley. Just stops props looking for Valor. Lines Valor up. The small fella couldn't quite mark it. Holland Smith out of defence. Good kick looking for, I think it's Greenwall out there. He picks it up. Goes short, good-looking kick, and the mark is well taken there by Connor Nutting. So the Suns' end-to-end is good. Let's see if I can just keep moving it before the Students' defenders get there. Nutting to the pocket. Kilpatrick will start in front. Got a fist to it. Barton will kill it towards the boundary line eventually. Ace was the man who took it out, and it will be tossed in front of a scoreboard which shows off a 50-point lead the way of Sydney Uni.
Starting to look a little bit aggressive out there on the scoreboard, absolutely. Pulled forward and tapped down. Won't get very far.
Probably a reflection of the game, though, Will. 50 points. I do feel like that's probably about right for today.
You got to think the first 30 was in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, over the next three, they've just slowly taken an extra 20 points to their lead. So playing off the deck here. Trying to get a bit of go forward, but no one really can. Students' defensive pressure has been pretty exceptional today. Like we said, the coach should hang his hat hold his head pretty high, certainly. They've been absolutely all over the Gold Coast attack, but here comes the attack. They've got one more throw of the dice here, but instead the Students are coming away with it through Morrison. Inside ball into traffic, playing again. That's just not exactly what he wanted. Ellis gives a fast ball, absolutely skittles a couple of players. Vella plays it forward onto his right leg. Awkward looking bounce. Big fist. Says, see you later. Off that one. Louis Stevenson turns. Gives a high one to Carroll. Played forward out in the wing here. Sierakowski. He'll turn onto his left leg. But that's going to be just uncontested. No problem at all, Eddie. Leslie.
So, you'll just have a look up. Look at his options. Corridor. You know what? That's not a bad option. Cooper Portelli. He can transfer play to this broadcast side. It's a floating sort of a kick, but it will work well. Runs to half forward. 3-on-2 situation. The Suns had the numbers, but Wright couldn't quite reel it in. Students saw a chance. Bit of a slide. That was really neat there by Budrick. Handball was good into space, but the Students have numbers. Goulden back by a hand as the kick comes long looking for Lucy. Corey Ellis couldn't quite bring that one in. Ellis ducking and weaving, picked up by Conan, gave it back to his mate there, Budrick, selling some candy. Is Burgess wrapped up in a tackle, holding the ball. Seen him pinged a couple of times today, Chris Burgess, and the Students will get a free kick for Banwallace.
So there's that defensive pressure we were talking about. And Wells just goes to Louis Stevenson. As Eddie coughs up a lung. Oh, geez, that's not a mistake you want to make, but he's lost his footing again there. Reinhard manages to get out of jail free on that occasion, playing towards the boundary side. Having a look around, he's got a bit of a lead and run from Sierakowski, but he says, no thanks. I think I've got a better idea, and let's find out what that is. Right foot, long way down the ground. Couldn't quite be marked, but streaming through towards the boundary before it encapsulates him. And they wait for the umpire to come in and ball this one up.
So the next 3 weeks for the Suns, as we just get reset, they've got no easy task. They've got Brisbane next week and then the Giants after that before a week off. So it doesn't get any easier as Tagliabue won that out of the ruck and then a bit of a hospital handball to the opposition. And he'll get to do a little bit more ruck work again up against Matt Conroy. I've really enjoyed his game today. Been pretty good relieving right in the ruck. Going forward too. Kick long. Looking for right now, just plucked it off the top. So he can have a look and go. He's got Fitzroy Greenwell running just in that forward line. Goes that direction now, maybe a little bit too late. 2-on-1 situation. Ball will bounce out the back. Students, though, they've got the numbers here. Just trapping. Handball came out the way of Portelli. Alice back by foot, looking for Ace. Ace will pick it up. He'll run around Cordell. He'll run to 60. Drop punt inboards. A beautiful kick. Really, really good stuff there from the man they call Ace. And taking the mark is Josh Gore from a distance a little bit more friendly than what he faced up with at three-quarter time.
Now, we always refer to this. Do you count this as the impossible pocket, Ed?
It is the impossible pocket. Haven't seen a set shot kicked here in 2019. Can Josh Gore do that? The small wins. Drop punt on the way from the impossible pocket. Missing across the face. So the students, the numbers in defence. The kick just blazes away. Good pick up there from Jez McClellan. Came back the way of Conroy. And it goes out the back. It wasn't Conroy at all. Apologies.
Just not quite the ball use, especially from a guy like Butterick. You just expect to stick those hand passes. Just not ideal. Late in the game and it's over, you expect that to drop, but you'd hope that they'd take that to the drawing board back on the training pack. Vella just kicks it forward out of the air. In comes, oh geez, have a look at this. Try and pick it up and clean. That's really smooth. Reinhard plays that one forward. Davies is going to have to trap it and go. Doesn't have anyone to really give it to, and in fact he gets held without the football. And the other Davies on the pack, Gold Coast, Alex Davies was there. Steve plays forward in the hands of Nutting. George Holland-Smith, two blonde fellas. Holland-Smith into the corridor. That's really well done. Good use of the body there. Reinhard inside, lateral. Louis Stevenson. Let his experience speak for itself. He'll continue the lateral trend. Foster. He's finding himself back in defence where he originally plied his trade. Stern. What can he make of this? They'll just go laterally again. Just a bit of kick-to-kick on the Saturday afternoon. Why not? Bit of fun. But Louis Stevenson says no more. Let's get a bit of go forward before a big clattering contest there with Ed Cole coming away with that. So it's still live, this play, and still a chance to make something of it. Could be an excellent string of phases to get to a goal if they can get that last bit. But no, it'll only go as far as Jez McLennan.
So McLennan on the defensive hotspot, goes short, and they'll go out wide. So they can string a couple of handballs together now. It will come the way of Nutting. He goes up the wing, ripping kick there. I'll just slow things down, the Suns, because there's not much forward of the ball. Kick goes out the way of Greenwall. Will it bounce up into him? Not quite. And it will be tossed up. So hopefully you've enjoyed this one this afternoon on NEAFL TV. It's been an enjoyable game to bring your way. As it's tossed in again, Goulden went without it. Ace was there. Bailey Stewart kicking and clearing the zone, finding the boundary line as well, and it will be tossed in, Will.
Another ball in, again playing around those flanks. They haven't had much luck around those flanks. Nothing really able to hold it in and get a bit of a run forward. They just sort of wait until it's belted into the middle. In this case, neither ruckman went for that, but there's going to be a ball called up. That's right.
A tough day for the boundary umpire on the other side of the ground. The wind, as we mentioned, reasonably strong.
This is played forward. Banuelos underneath that against Conroy. Plucked away out of Stewart's hands and into the path of Reinhardt. He plays it towards that boundary side. Onto the ground, another scrapping contest. Umpire with some work to do.
I'll just let you clear your throat, Will. It's a 50-point margin the way of Sydney Uni. Tossed up on the I Love Blacktown wing. The students, they get the clearance from the stoppage. Suns defenders working really well. Though the kick comes in, Davies will start from behind. Used his body well, but then was flattened onto his back. Running through was Flipper Stern. The Suns defence under immense pressure. Free kick's going to go the way of Flipper Stern. He was unnecessarily held after he fell to ground. And the Suns defenders concede another goal. This time to Josh Stern.
Did well, Stern, to really come bursting out of the pack. He read the situation. Davies just cluttered it, made sure it was going over his head, and Stern just had the legs to keep it going forward. So
another Pennant Hills product. He's a beautiful kick at goal traditionally. He's got 2 on the afternoon to date. Better make that 3. We're out to 56 points here at Blacktown. A real good day for Sydney Uni.
Excellent day for Sydney Uni. The exact type of match they need to really get that season on track. It's been a tough, as we said, month, and obviously not calendar month because we're only a few days into July, but month of actual period. Just some tough losses, obviously against Giants, for example, and then coming up against the likes of Brisbane, the result we do not speak of. And
no, we don't.
They've managed to come back and really get a strong win before breaking away for a bye, like you said. So great result for them. The Gold Coast's strong run of form has unfortunately come to a screaming halt in this match. Mostly brought about by just some hard injuries. 14 injured players on their AFL list.
And then form just throughout the club at the moment. Just very hard to come by. Like catching a cold in summer as they'll work it out through the midfield here, the Suns. Maybe trying to capture a little bit of form. Nutting will fly from behind, but ran out of space in the end, and it's marked there by Reinhardt. He'll come back through the corridor. Why not? Sirakowski's there, marking, wanting to play on quickly. Does so. Good use of the body there, Kilpatrick. Bounced over the head there of the student. Picked up, crumbed really nicely there by the Suns. And short kick, Valley used his body well as it spills the way of Crockmore. In the sun here at Blacktown. Students are really bathing and enjoying in it. Foster will go back with the flight, but the Suns' defence once again too strong.
So Suns just having a look around, really just looking to see the game out. Bit of arms in the air, bit of frustration beginning to boil over. Knocked down, and it's actually come out pretty clean for him, but it's just been intercepted. There's Vella, really liked his game today. That's cleared forward into the opening, top of the flank, halfway up, forward line. Playing out again, the Suns, can they go? Give and go. Butterick threw one up, but it was picked off. And he's eventually drilled into the turf by a pretty convincing tackle from Alex Davies. It's just not going to get far from an attacking point of view. Making it real hard. We're about 22 minutes gone in this quarter. It's been a bit of a slower quarter. Just
a bit of a slug.
Yeah, a bit of a slug. Uni are just really putting the finishing touches on a relatively comprehensive victory. Playing off the back there. Another few aggressive tackles out on the far side. We're saying Sydney Uni have the bye, Ed. Gold Coast next match.
Doesn't get any easier. They got Brisbane.
Jay.
Lions, as the free kick will come the way of the Suns. They'll hopefully get a few more AFL listed players back in as the Suns through Nutting. He's had a pretty good last quarter, but that handball just put his mate under a world of pressure. And the chase down and tackle was really good there from Kilpatrick. Had a really good second half. Found plenty of the footy. Right now, right on the flank. Goes along to the contest. As it clean bowled there, Conan. Though the Suns, though, they just found a way. Came back to Corey Ellis, captaining the side today. Kick into the corridor, a bit risky. Nick Foster's there. Got a handball out just tripping on the good length there, and that's going to be holding the ball. That's a really unfortunate decision there for Sydney Uni.
It's just so unlucky. They really had the run going. And
Ed Cole just got his toes stuck right on the crease.
Yeah.
Just where they mark centre, and unfortunately for him, he was done for holding the ball. As the Suns, they'll work it forward again, slip through their hands as Vella cleans up the crumbs. Put it on his right boot, working it up the wing. They're lining up at the moment here, Sydney Uni. Monty Crockmore, ball in hand, then lost it pretty quickly. Good pressure again from Gold Coast. They've done well in that respect as the kick came forward to Ace.
So ball in the hands of Ace. And we said, hey, how's the best way to say his name? They just said, we all just call him Ace. And we said, we will go with that. That trickles over. Feeling a bit of fence, the ball is, as it trickles over on the boundary side. There's been a few. Who are your standouts today, Ed?
Hard to go past the games of Bartholomeus, Louis Stevenson, both been really good. Harry Morrison up forward, probably best game I've seen him play up forward in a while. Offered a real bit of spark for the students, as will poor boundary umpire throwing it into the wind will have to do so again. Luke Vallarada playing his fourth game. He's come into it. Ed Cole too, quite a good game. Nick Foster, as you'd expect, pretty good. Adam Goulden, quite a game for the dasher from half-back, as the students just clear it from defensive 50. Chance for the Suns, though, off the rebound. For the Gold Coast Suns, well, Peter Wright, as you've mentioned, he's had a pretty good game. George Holland-Smith, as you'd expect, has been handy.
It's like Butterick's game.
Butterick's game.
In
probably
patches.
Butterick and Conan both have stood up in patches, as you'd expect from two young guns. Mitch Reardon, he's also put his hand up occasionally, but just too often the Suns have just gone missing, as that's a pretty good kick up at forward. There's a ton of players around it. Somehow the Suns get a kick inside 50 and it should bounce out of bounds. So a chance to kick goal number 6 here for the Suns and just bring it back to an even 50-point margin.
A gentleman's 15.
Yes.
50.
Yes.
More accurately. Pulled into the side here. Peter Wright taps that one down. Clearance made by Banjuelos. Played forward. Students looking to fish it out. Foster was under it and just thrashing about with the weight down just outside the 50. Corner of the centre square. Won't get much further as they slowly make their way to their feet. Foster did well. McDonald was there too. They're all up and about. Vella's lurking. He's had a good game playing off Rover. This one will hit the deck again. Vella there waiting for it to spill out. That's his stern. Just doesn't go very far. Very colourful outfit today, Eddie. Both sides. Big yellow, red, Indigenous jerseys out, and they look terrific. It's going to bounce and play around there. Corey Ellis, bit of work to do. Bit of show and go. Dances right through the middle of them. Really nicely done. Playing forward. Oh, Holland Smith looked to take a bump there. Ned Reinhardt, he's been really active this quarter. Plays forward and he's just going to hit him nearly perfectly. Playing again forward. Suns with a chance to show and go from here. Jez McLennan sends one inside 50. Last chance. Peter Wright flies. Won't quite get there.
He's paid the mark there the way of the students.
Ned Reinhardt again.
So Ned, he's had a pretty good game across the back line. His kick goes to another man whose game I've really liked, Harry Morrison. So he has a look forward. The Suns have just zoned off well as the students make a couple of changes. Austin Lucy and Ed Cole make their way on. He goes the way of Cole, marks it. Oh, sense of it.
Sense of theatre.
Sense of theatre, yes. Instead, it will go the way of Alice. I thought that was on the chalk, but I'm behind, so my perception's probably not in the right spot as Alice's kick is a good one. Finds a target. McClellan, he hasn't had a bad game. He just chips it to half forward. Good-looking kick. Was that nothing? I think it was. He's paid it. As the siren sounds, we'll have a shot after the siren again here at the Bisp to bring it back to a 50-point ball game. And the mark was paid to Holland Smith. It's Connor Nutting's just off shot to the right of your screen in the hands of the trainers. So Holland Smith to bring it back to a 50-point ball game. Begins his approach. Drop punt on the way. Drifting, and it did sneak through in the end. It did just. So a 50-point win for Sydney Uni here at Blacktown. It was a 5-goal first quarter that really set that one up. And the Suns, with all of their teenagers playing today and injuries through the AFL list, just couldn't quite match it. And they'll be replaced in the top 6 by the students by the time this round wraps up. As the Sydney Swans make their way onto Blacktown International Sportspark for the second game of the double header. They will be up against the Southport Sharks, of course. Grand final rematch. Should be an absolute ripper on NEAFL TV this evening. Will Jackson, a couple of comments and thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, just a bit tough for them out there. Naturally, I think you could see the mismatch in contested ball, and that really just came from age and experience between the two sides. So it's not an alarm bell for the Suns. They just need to wait for some of those players to come back from injury and just help bolster and level things out a bit. Otherwise, the students would be really happy with their performance. Their intent, defensive pressure was fantastic, and they can hold their heads really high going into this bye.
Thank you so much for your time this afternoon, Will. Always a pleasure. It was a 50-point win for Sydney Uni. The write-up will be on neafl.com.au a little bit later, so you can read who the best were and where this game was exactly won or lost. But for now, it's a very good bye from Blacktown International Sportspark.